So we saw the race with Jasmine Crockett. The last live we had, she was doing that was the day of the race. Turns out she lost the race. We kind of saw that during the live. We kind of looked at everything, was like, this not looking that good for her. Looked like she might lose. She wound up losing. Didn't lose by a whole lot. Of course, there's different, different polls are saying different things. Different news broadcasts are saying different percentages. But roughly, the consensus is she got like 47 something percent of the vote, and he got like 51 or 52, something like that, around something like that. So she didn't lose by too much. Now, a lot of people are upset and saying, looking at that and saying, like, if the black voter turnout was higher, she could have won. And that's what I was saying last night on my live stream. Like, yeah, it was a very winnable race for her. She could have won the race if black voter turnout was higher. But black voter turnout was not high this race. It wasn't really high the last election. It wasn't too high the election before that, to be very honest with you. Black voter turnout has not been that high, at least for the Democrats. I'm going to have to shrink the font a little bit, so I'm going to change that in just a second. But at least for the Democrats, black voter turnout has been kind of low. Ain't been good. So I'm asking you guys, why are black voters leaving the Democrats? Black voters are not turning out for the Democrats, and they need it. They need it. Jasmine needed that seat. She needed that position. Okay? She needed it. And she relied on she didn't rely on the black vote. She relied on the Hispanic vote. That was her problem. But she needed the black vote, and the black vote wasn't there. So I want to, talk to everybody, get everybody's thing about why the black vote, or voters rather, are leaving the Democrat Party. Zizi, what do you think?
Yeah. Now, I know that it might have not been a lot of voters, but I think what it is that black people just wasn't rocking with her. So we can make the excuse that it just wasn't enough turnout. But when black people don't like somebody, we're not going to participate. That's why we voted couch last year. So we're not about to participate if we're not filling the options that's presented. So I think a part of that, she and her team or people that supported her is probably not being genuine about, is that because you was relying so much on these immigrants and focusing so much on them, that you lost a lot of the black Americans who you thought you just had in your pocket because you FBA. So I think there's that. But also, I don't think the Democrats really wanted her to win any damn ways. To be honest, I don't think they see her in no high position to be real. When I found out that Obama endorsed Tellerico, I'm like, oh damn! So they just like was playing with her the whole time. I'm like, I didn't even know that. I didn't realize that on the last stream. So I'm like, yeah, clearly they was not rocking with her. They didn't want to. They playing with her. To be honest, they toying with her at that point. And I think she knows that. But if you want to stay on the Democratic plantation, stay over there. That's fine. If you want to keep getting coins and crumbs from these white supremacists on that side, then that's fine. But we know how this game is played, and you see how the game is played. You playing it right now. So I mean, the sympathy can only go but so far. So far, at least it is what it is. But I think black people just ain't rocking with her for sure. We're not rocking with the Democrats because they're not offering us anything. So we shouldn't be.
I agree. I said before, I'm all like, now when the Democrats need her support, I mean, she is super front line. She is on the front line. She's backing everybody up. She's screaming and yelling on at people for their behalf, cursing people out, all that. You know what I'm saying? When they needed her, she was, by herself. Because they did not want her. They was like, all that, all that stuff you was doing, all that performative homegirl stuff you was doing, that's not for higher office, baby. That's not what we doing.
Exactly. What you call a congressional homegirl?
Yeah.
That's literally the perfect title. Because that's what they got her as.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Hold on,
hey, how you doing? We're gonna set the decorum real quick, and then we're gonna get stuff started, though. BX, can you set the decorum? Because ZZ don't have too much time, so I don't want to,
Sure.
This might be short live. We might do a part 2 if we need to. Depends.
Hmm. I just want to tell you, I think the Democrats are suffering from delusions. They are shocked and amazed that we're not well. They expect loyalty from us, but they've been everything but loyal to us, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So I think that yeah, they expect us to go in and cast our vote and to keep walking around in this cloud saying, well, we're black anyway. They'll never win it if they say they're going to do something specifically for us. Our ancestors would have never expected that. And when you say the black vote, it's important to note which black people you're talking about, because for some reason all the Caribbean and Africans are identifying as black. The last time I checked, they were the Caribbean community, African community, and we are the black community. But they got that all up in the, mess there. But anyway, black Americans are tired of being promised things and then they drop the ball on us. So no free votes. And I'm gonna leave it there.
We're gonna get to Nat King.
What's happening, everybody? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, got you.
Hey, my family is from Louisiana, New Orleans specifically, on both sides. I don't even know how far I go back because I don't have no other family in no other states, and I feel like I'm related to everybody in every parish out there because I got a lot of family out there. So my family on both sides come directly from Louisiana.
All right.
All right. So to answer your question, why are black voters leaving the Democratic Party? I think it has multiple facets in regards to why they're leaving. I think for one, I think due to the fact that a lot of people don't pay attention and acknowledge this, a lot of black Americans are highly educated now. Uh, we've we have faceted degrees, graduated from high school and things of that nature. To the fact that we understand that the Democratic Party can no longer program us and use certain systems in order to keep us in line. Also, I think that, in my opinion, I feel like that we also can, no disrespect to non-black American, black people or whatever you choose to call them, but we can see with the Democratic Party and how they're moving in regards to people immigrating from other countries and how they're putting them into our communities and how it's affecting our communities. Uh, on an aspect of housing costs and jobs and opportunities for Black Americans. Um, Also, another thing I believe is the simple fact that the reason the young lady Jasmine JC she wasn't able to win is a twofold thing. I feel like the Democratic Party put her out there, and she was, and they used her to be a quote unquote loud black woman. And none of my black queens are loud like that, and I'm not saying that, but I feel like they use her as a typical stereotype that they want a black woman to be, knowing that it will bring attention and rile up a certain community, the Black American community. And I feel bad because I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't feel like she held herself based on the way she was speaking and how certain things that she was saying, that she held herself as true to her nature. And I know she's a smart young lady, and I felt like once it was done with her, and they got everybody where they needed to be riled up, the new guy came in, and that's what, and he just took over, you know. So I just feel like when it comes to the Democratic Party as of now, the current Democratic Party, and it probably, in all honesty, it's probably been like this since uh the guy took over for Kennedy after he passed. They just use us for what they need to get what they want, and after they're done with it, they throw it to the side to complete their agenda. And a lot of people are waking up from that. That's all I have to say on that.
All right. I mean, there we go. Let's get to Violin Mommy.
Hi Afro, hi ZZ, hey BX.
How you
I just
doing? How you doing?
Hey.
I'm black and I'm proud. I'm happy. I got Sulani tatted on my face now. But y'all probably think I'm crazy. Can I expound on what he was saying? Because I wanna just say something real quick. Even as because I'm a proud, hey, I'm the statistic, to be honest. I'm black, I'm loud, I'm ghetto, I'm on assistance, I'm unemployed, I got a baby daddy, and my kids are on a high honor roll. My kids are doing well. I'm doing well in life. I'm still wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't worry about a dollar. I get money. It's easy to me. I don't have to do anything. And I think that's what we are as a people. Our poorest are the richest in the world. And the reason why black voters are leaving the Democrats is because the Democrats have rocked us to sleep a lot of times. They promised us, they overpromised us. Oh, we're gonna do this. Yeah, yeah. They made it sound cool. They used our vernacular. They used our ebonics. They used our culture. And people are the playbook is old. You know what I'm saying? It's old. It's old. Yes, we know y'all can rap the lyrics with us. We know y'all can dress up like us. Y'all can say yo, 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 and fam, and what's up. Like, we get it now. It's old. They are worse than the Republicans. And then I'm not going to give the Republicans no nothing. Because right wing, left wing, same bird. So I have no respect for either side. But that's why black voters are leaving the Democrats. We've seen this playbook before. Y'all not gonna rock us to sleep no more. Y'all not. And that's why. And if I'm tripping, y'all can correct me. I have no problem being corrected. That's all I want to say. Thank you for having me up here, Afro Elite and ZZ and BX.
Well, thank you very much for coming. Now, there's somebody in the chat room, James Bond Jr. He keeps saying, let me up, let me up. You have to request. Request up, and we'll get you up here. I want to hear some opposition. I want to hear what y'all think about why black people, because clearly, I mean, it's a fact. We're not even making it up. Clearly, black people are leaving the Democrats. So I want to hear what y'all think. Let's get to MJ.
Folks, how we doing?
Good, brother. How you doing? How you doing?
Good, good. Descendant of slaves, can trace it back to plantation in Mississippi. And shout out to Nat King, my fiance is from New Orleans. Grew up in the East, and I have some family in the Ninth Ward. So hope all was good, brother. But yeah, I think a lot of people kind of hit on it. I mean, maybe I'd maybe be the opposition here, but I think that, there's a lot of people that generally are just kind of upset and feel left out. And I think what the last young lady said might have been maybe a key to it. I think there's been some overpromising, some things that they haven't necessarily maybe come full circle. I know there's even, some, Black Americans in this country were kind of upset with maybe Barack Obama. Maybe he quote unquote didn't do, enough for Black people. So I think that it's a lot of letdown feelings, and I think people are, perfectly right to have their own opinion. I the way that I look at it though is it'd be interesting to see if we dip below 80%. I know so 83% of Black Americans voted for um, Vice President Harris. So that's 17% that voted, for the Republican nominee, President Trump, was kind of staggering. So it'd be interesting to see if we dip below 80. And I'm not sure if we will, but I'm of the belief that both parties have, serious issues. But as far as right now, I'm still going to support the Democrat Party, opposed to the Republican Party. But yeah, overall, like I said, love that you have this kind of up here. I think it's important for all of us to be able to have good conversation, try to figure out what's next. So
Okay. Well, that's what I wanted to be abundantly clear. This live is not to advocate for the Republican Party. We're not just being all like, okay, guys, everybody, we got to be Republican now. I'm not trying to do that, but we do have to acknowledge the black people who did voted overwhelmingly for the Democrats. But what we've been noticing is that there's been fewer and fewer black people turning out in general. This is why they can't really win swing states and win the districts that they need. Now, clearly, really 8 to 9 times out of 10, the black people who will get up and vote will vote Democrat, but that number is fewer and fewer and fewer. That number is fading away. So that's why do you think that is? I mean, well, you kind of just explained, like, broken promises, people upset at Obama. It's a lot of reasons, to be honest. It's a
yeah.
build up. It's all that stuff compiles, and it becomes this disaster for them.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think it's a lot of promises, and I see some people in the comments maybe upset with what I said, but I think that even if we just break down policy, I think it's okay to have, like, there's some serious, and I'm sure we already know there's some serious differences between, even if we just look at President Trump and what Vice President Harris had on the table. We can talk about or how ICE is being utilized, whether it's a zero tolerance policy rather
Hmm.
than not. And so there's some policy things that I think are perfectly fine to really kind of disagree with. But at the same point, I've heard a lot of people who are for President Trump or even for the Republican Party. It just seems like it's more policy differences rather than this whole idea of, oh, what have the Democrats done? Well, what have the Republicans done? Both parties, we can make solid arguments that they both have maybe done a disservice toward Black people. Um, but I don't know. But I think it's always interesting to have these conversations with people
Well,
as
all
well.
right, yeah, yeah. I would encourage you to stay up. So when we have open panel later on, then maybe you can weigh in and give us your stance on that. We're gonna get to our brother Denzimus. How you doing? How you doing?
Good. Hope everybody's doing good today. So why are the Democrats? Why are Black voters leaving the Democrats? So okay, I got 7 points I'm going to make. I'm going to make it real quick. So for starters, they have a history of telling us one thing and doing another thing. We voted for tangibles. They, when that situation happened down in California, where we voted for reparations. They've done that multiple times. We expect them to do stuff we want. We give them policies that we want. They don't do it. We don't need to have our intellect insulted like that. We're not dumb. On top of that, we're also tired of the minstrel shows, with them dancing like fools with the what you call it, the boule class. We do not like that. That's another reason why I imagine we're leaving. On top of the damn fish fry, like come on now.
Mm.
Another thing, bringing in harmful groups that are a threat to us. I think I've told you before that when I used to work at Amazon, there were a lot of immigrants that worked there. I cannot tell you how many of these immigrants, illegals, or whatever, they were feeling themselves when before the orange man got into office, and of course you know how much ish and crap they were talking when they thought that Kamala was going to get in, and how they were acting a fool up in Mr. Nasheed's spaces. So that's another reason why we don't want that we're leaving them. They give them policies that are harmful to us and good for them. Um, Also, I think it's uh, I would also say a lot of the older voters are like how do I say it? Going away. They're going to the next life, and they're getting replaced by the younger voters. And I will give the younger voters this because I guess I'm young. I'm 30. That's young, right? A lot of us we read policies. You can't just tell us to go vote for a damn Democrat just because our ancestors did it. Like, no, that's not how this works anymore. You're gonna have to, if you want us to get up out of our seat and to waste our gas to go vote for your ass, you're gonna have to bring something to the table. If you're not gonna do that, they're gonna be like, get the F out of my face. And yeah, that's that's pretty much all I have for the moment. So yeah.
All right, yeah. All right. All right, let's get to Mr. Seth.
Hey, Afroli, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I remember you interviewed the Chicago Turns Red, the three sisters, that was on your panel. There was pre-election, and I seen a lot of things, coming forth then. You understand? And unlike Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, Brandon Johnson didn't waver. He just stood 10 toes down on what he was doing, and and I was seeing the anger and the passion in these, and it was jam packed at them town halls, and they were doing it in New York, and then they started trickling down to other cities and other states. And I told people, I said, listen, I normally vote Democrat, but I said, listen, it's a shift. It's about to be a shift because I'm saying, y'all not handling this right, especially this illegal immigration and a lot of other stuff. And and people now starting to realize that the Democratic Party might be taking the BLK vote for granted. People becoming more alert. And I talked to Kamala, Miss Harris, assistant campaign manager in Ohio, because as Ohio goes, as they say, Ohio goes, the election goes. And he pretty much told me in so many words to stand down and wait till she gets in and all this. And I said, well, we did that under Biden, we did that under Obama. And I said, a lot of people are not feeling her. I seen that Breakfast Club interview. She got the most dislikes of any politician they had on there, and they had a slew of politicians on there, even white T ones and Hispanic ones, and nobody got a lower rating than she did. I said, people are not really feeling her. They were telling me to stand down. They're gonna stand down. She outspending Trump 3-1. She more intelligent, more and this, that, and that. I said, okay. And then afterwards, after the election, it was crickets from them. And I said, I try to tell you, and I said, the black male vote. I think Donald Trump got more of the black male vote in 100 years. That was like pre-FDR, more than 100 years. You probably can go all the way back to Reconstruction, how much, the black male vote that he got, what I'm saying, per capita. And I said, per capita, BLK people were not voting for Kamala Harris like that. I said Clinton and, and other Democratic, nominees got more than she did. And I said she was just not a good candidate. And I said they're leaving because, they think y'all, in so many words, are not, y'all taking them for granted. Y'all taking their votes for granted. And you're not, you're ignoring your base. You're trying to be Republican-like. And you're ignoring your base. And when that happens, then it's going to be a trickle-down effect. And I said, and I'm saying that mildly. And, and they still, try to argue the point. I like Crockett more than I like Harris. And I wouldn't mind seeing her. But I knew that the way they going about it now, I said, this still is a moderate conservative country. And I said that we still got a lot of conservative BLK and moderate BLK people too. And I said, just because you talk about Hispanics, this, that, and the third with ICE and all that, they traditionally vote more Republican because they like the morals and the values that they, think they got more of. I'm not saying they perfect. They far from perfect. Trump is far from perfect, but you married, got kids, and you got more of a family structure. Y'all, some of y'all into this weird stuff, and and I don't want to get into all that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, and I said that's not going to fly with them. And they found out again, and like I said, y'all just right. Y'all right on point. There's a lot more to be said, but I land my plane. I'll drop down. Get some.
Yeah, we might have to rotate. I don't want anybody feeling no type of way, but we might have to rotate the panel a little quickly today because we're a little pressed for time. So, yeah.
Well, before I drop down, can I say one more thing, if you don't mind?
Yeah, you can say one.
Okay, I'm gonna make it quick. So another thing that I feel like the Democrats don't understand is the whole finger wagging thing. Specifically with black men, I don't think they understand that we as black men we are not nobody's court jester. Obama got up on his little panels or whatever and was winger fagging. Oh God! Finger wagging. My bad.
Oh my
bad.
God! What the hell? How the hell how did you slip up and say that?
I'm sorry. I'm telling so much shit right now.
It was.
I apologize.
What he said.
I can't repeat it.
My bad. I apologize.
It was that bad.
I apologize, BX. I'm sorry. I'm just doing so much shit, so much stuff in the house right now. But I'm making it quick. All the condescending talk that he does to us, we that's another thing that makes us not want to deal with Obama no more. Like it's already bad enough that you didn't do anything when you were president and you watched us get unalive by the police and whoever, but to come back after you were president and not do and just talk down upon us, like, who do you think you are? That's another thing. So yeah, we just not going for it no more. I'm not even going to get into Kamala because she's just him, but a female. So yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I had to say. And thank you. And I apologize, BX and Afro.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. It was an accident, TikTok. It was an accident. Anybody who disagrees, because there's people who disagree in the chat room, come up and say it. Come up and say it. And we'll have a conversation about it. There's somebody we're going to get to in just a second. We're going to get to James because James disagrees. We're going to find out why exactly in just a second. But before that, we're going to get to our sister Samantha.
Hey, Afro. Peace to the panel. Hey, Susie. Peace, BX. Peace to everybody.
Peace.
While black voters leaving Democrat, me personally, I've never been a vote blue, no matter who type of person. I vote by policy. That's what my family has always ran on. But what I'm seeing that a lot of Black voters are disappointed with the unmet policy expectations. I mean, you know, has the Republican done anything specifically for us? No, of course not. But if the Democrat Party is supposed to be the quote unquote party for the people, what people? You understand what I mean? One thing that I can say about the more conservative side is we are winning by proxy because their stance on immigration, and you know what I mean. So we're kind of winning, like I said, by proxy for that. So I came up because I'm down here in Texas with Jasmine. The way Jasmine, she didn't think this all the way through, because the thing about it is, she before she announced her, the fact that she wanted to run, she went and said things about the Hispanic community. She said that, them voting for Trump was comparable to a slave mentality, number one. Then she turned right around and tried to run her campaign on, and gear towards the quote Hispanic community by saying that the ICE agents were comparable to, slave catchers and things like that. So she had already lost the Hispanic community. And then, like, for me being down here, she lost me too, because she said absolutely nothing about the Black community, what she was going to do for us. So she lost her district. It could have been, for gerrymandering, all that kind of stuff. She lost her district, but her overall personality, kind of lost her vote, with the, down here in Texas, we're red through and through, the white community. She lost the Hispanic community, and she didn't mention anything about the Black community. So, yeah, that's why she lost. I mean, she didn't have me anyway, because she didn't say, and if she would have spoke about us specifically, talked about some tangibles and things like that, because like I said, I'm not part of the specific, then yeah, I would have thought about it. But, she didn't think it all the way through. So I think that's why she didn't make it. But again, my overall reason why I think Black voters are leaving the Democrat Party, because they're not bringing nothing to us, and everyone else is waking up. And I'll just land right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I want y'all to understand something. People in the comments, I want you guys to look at that, right? You guys are no better than Trump supporters, okay? Anytime we have a conversation about Trump or conservatives, she will come, you got a whole bunch of Trump supporters who will come up and be all like, God bless America, dude. We love America, man. You guys are just liberals, dude. Okay, yeah, you have that. Okay, sure. But you're not refuting the points that have been made. You haven't been doing that. There's a whole bunch of people in the chat room like, you guys are MAGA. That's it. There's just a bunch of MAGA talking points. Okay, well, that doesn't defeat anything. And that is the reason why the Democrats are losing, because nobody can say anything about them. As the Black community, you would think we should be the main ones being able to hold them accountable. Nobody can say nothing about them before y'all like, you stop with the MAGA talking point. You guys just want to be white. Okay, all right. All right. That's the same thing that you guys say Trump supporters do. Now, MAGA does do that, but what makes y'all better if y'all do the same thing? Let's get to now James Bond Jr. You disagreed, so I want to hear exactly why you disagree. But first off, real quick, where's your ethnic background from?
African American.
Like, okay, here, maybe you missed it. We don't use the term African American. Are you Black American on both sides of your parents, both sides of your family?
Yeah, straight up Black, man.
Okay, on both sides of your family, it goes back to chattel slavery in America.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I wasn't born here technically, so I mean, I'm still Black. So
okay, you weren't born here. You see what you see? Okay, where were you born? Where were you born?
I was born in I'm Congolese.
What so listen, sir. Wait. No, I'm gonna just give you
I've been here
wait,
since I was a
James,
kid, so.
James, this is a teachable moment. Can you mute up? Are you in New York? Can you mute up?
Why are the police chasing you, man? That's ICE behind them.
That's
No,
ICE.
it's outside. I'm
One
sorry.
minute. 1 minute. So, James, it's important to note that when your family migrated here from the Congo, they couldn't migrate into my ethnic group, right? So my ethnic group is hold on, I'm not finished. So race is unconstitutional in the United States of America, if you haven't noticed. We don't do anything operating off of race or it gets struck down. I'm not finished. Affirmative action is gone because it was race-based. DEI gone because it was race-based. Fearless Fund has been attacked because it is race-based. We operate off a lineage. You are a Congolese or a Congolese American. Black Americans are a specific ethnic group, and that is those who descend from U.S. chattel slavery and could trace their ancestors to an 1870 census. It's not a hard concept. We're not going after your melanation. What we are doing is demanding our ethnic autonomy, because y'all are trying to practice flat blackness, and that is an erasure to my people, my ancestors, and our history. Please don't do that. Please identify correctly. Be Congolese and proud. Thank
What
you.
is going on, man? I thought I was supposed to come up here just
Well, you
make
said you
my
were
point.
African American. Stop. Don't do that. Because you said the first thing you said is you're African American, knowing full well that you should have said I'm a Congolese American. That's what you
Hey man,
are.
on my application, when I get application, they ask you what race you are. I always put African American.
Okay,
Okay, it
well,
doesn't
see,
say
that's why we
Congolese
changing that. That's
American.
why we changing that.
So
But let's
okay, good.
continue. Hold
Jesus
on,
Christ,
because we
man.
don't want to get caught up in that. I want to continue with the conversation
No
about
problem.
why you support the Democrat Party, because we'll be on that for a good minute. So, why do you support the Democrat Party?
Well, first of all, I do have a heart. I do care for everybody. When you look at, I was just looking at it today. I asked Google how many African Americans are in Congress from Republican side. It's four, but all of them are about to be gone at the end of this year because one of them lost their election in Texas, and then another one is going to be trying to run for governor in Florida, and then another one from Utah lost his gerrymandering, whatever. So anyway, so there's zero Republicans in Congress after this year. The reason why I'm Democrats and I'm always going to be a Democrat is because the policy. So when it comes to, like, for example, like Medicaid, I think it's really important because it kind of keeps people, like if you can't afford to have insurance, you have Medicaid, and people who are trying to take that away from poor people, not just black people, just everybody in general don't make that much money are
Mm.
Republicans. When that stimulus, when Trump's first year in office, when he passed that stimulus check, I think it was like for $12,000. The reason why it was passed because it had Democrats were in control of Congress. To me, the reason why I'm a Democrat and always be a Democrat is because they fight for people don't have that much, and the Republican Party to me just seems like the rich party. And right now, the Republican Party, they have the Congress, they have the Senate, they have the White House, they have the Supreme Court. What have the Republican Party have done for us lately? That's my
Okay,
question.
now when you say us, you know what I'm saying? Is there another reason? Come on, you don't support the Democrats, and you're trying to avoid saying that you support their immigration policy. You're really trying to avoid that. You were like, yeah, it's because of Medicare and
Oh,
Medicaid. That's
oh,
the reason. Are you sure
when it
it's not
comes
the
to
immigration policies that's the reason why you were Democrat?
when it comes to immigrants policy, I work in restaurant, right? So I cook. So it's Italian restaurant, but I'm not gonna give where I work at. But the people that work in the kitchen, especially the dishwasher, are or Hispanic. And every time we try to hire anybody, an American, be like, hey, we got a job for you. They'll come in for like one day and they're gone. So like to me, it's not like it's not like Mexicans are just coming in taking our jobs, And so I just think to me, like I said, I have a heart. We just have a different opinions when it comes to immigrant. To me, I feel like we're our children of God and we should treat everybody the same way. If you're a bad person, of course you should be out of our country. But if you're just a family who's trying to make ends meet, working a dishwasher, I don't see how that's taking our job or black job. You know what I mean? I don't know. We just have
Okay.
a different
There's no
opinion. I
hour
appreciate this
when you're
conversation.
involved.
He's saying our job, our country, we. You feel very included. And this is the thing, right? And this is why we get people's ethnic group before we have the conversation, because everything else that every other statement subsequent to the acknowledgement of his ethnic group, it all lines up. Okay. It makes perfect sense. No wonder you support the Democratic Party. They're not doing anything for Black Americans. Where you talk about you're a loving person and you care about people so much. They're not doing anything for Black Americans. Black Americans are very harmed, and I'm not a Republican, but Black Americans are very harmed specifically under Democrat control and leadership.
That's your question.
What's your question? After you ask that question, then we're gonna get to our brother Dave. But what's your question?
What policy do you specifically want to see Democrats? Because you know, like in government, you have two
Mm-hmm.
political parties, right? And
Mm-hmm.
both party, somebody's gonna fight for something. They have to like vote on it, and it's gonna either go up and down, whatever. So, what policy do you want to see Democrats fight for that you haven't seen? They haven't
Reparations.
fought for so long, and
Reparations.
do,
Reparations. Yep. That's
okay, but
reparations.
do you believe that if they like goes to Congress, do you believe the Republican Party will vote for it, or do you
I
think they
don't.
might?
No. But the thing is that it's the Democrats who are holding it up. Look at California. The Republicans weren't the ones who were blocking the reparations in California. It was the Democrats who did that. It was actually a Republican guy who was the only dude to actually advocate for reparations in California. The Republicans are the ones who sat on that bill and let that bill unalive. Okay. The Republicans are the ones who put that bill up. Okay. I mean, the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones who didn't want to see that bill come to life. It was the Democrats who didn't want to see that. Okay. In California, where they pretty much have absolutely no Republican opposition whatsoever. But the Democrats still sat on that bill and didn't want it to come alive. They didn't. So, no, I don't think that the Democrats want reparations any more than the Republicans do. Here's the thing. The Democrats, just last year, they were willing to do the longest government shutdown of American history over Obamacare. Essentially Obamacare, because they wanted compromises on Obamacare. All right. And they're not willing to do that at all over Congress, over reparations. So no, yeah, that's what if they not
I'll
willing to
leave.
fight that hard,
Yeah,
I don't see the concern.
okay, I'll leave very quick, but I'm just gonna just say this. When it comes to reparation, I understand what you're saying, but like I'm old enough to understand that I mean I watch a lot of Fox News like 24/7. I'm like because I just want to hear what other people are saying. I'm avid of watching every single conservative, Candace Owen, Ben Shapiro, you name it, And I'm just telling you, just from my experience, just watching these right wingers and the way they talk about it, there's no way because they're gonna
Thank
like say,
you,
"Oh, that's another
Afrobeat. This is
DEI
our
hired,"
reparations.
and I'm
Why
just
should we
telling
be
you
allowed
guys,
to
like
speak
they're
on
gonna
them?
demonize.
Especially as
Okay,
somebody who watches Fox
I
News.
don't know.
hold on.
Thank you. I
But
appreciate
if
it
you
for
watch
having me
the
on.
opposite, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, yeah, okay. But the thing is that you're coming over here and you're supporting the party, and the party doesn't do that. Okay. Yeah, we know. You're talking. You're trying to preach to us about the Republican Party and advocate for the Democrats. The Democrats aren't doing anything for us, but that doesn't bother you. Okay,
No, it's not
you're
that.
not trying to prove it does. Okay, you're not trying to prove it does. All of that talking about the Republicans that don't make the Democrats look good. Y'all think it do, but it really don't.
For example, like minimum wage, right? It was on federal level, and they're trying to raise it.
Now
And
hold on, you
who's the opposition of raising the minimum wage? Like that could help a lot of people. And like the
no,
Republican
no,
Party,
look, all of that
honestly
minimum wage and stop.
doesn't help at all.
When the Democrats under Biden a few years ago, when they had Congress, when they had the House, Senate, and the presidency, they could have did a whole lot of stuff that people keep trying to make it seem like the Democrats want to do. They didn't. They do what they want to do. They talk about what other people want. They talk about what the people want, but they do what they want. That's why the Stop Asian Hate bill, that's why that flew through with no problem. All of the things they wanted, pretty much they got instantly. The stuff they didn't want, even when they could get it, okay, under in the last 20 years, we've had more Democrat leadership than Republican leadership. Okay. And the Democrats, for whatever reason, can't get nothing done whatsoever. All right. Nothing that we want. They do what they want to do. Like I said, the Democrats pretty much didn't have any power at all, and they had a whole gridlock in Congress. Congress was completely shut down. They shut the government down for Medicaid and Medicare. So they can do what they want to do, but we're going to have to be fair, and we're going to have to move to. Now, I want you to stay, though. I want you to stay. I want you to stay, but we're going to have to move on to get to our brother Dave Anderson.
Peace, Afro, peace, ZZ, peace to the panel, all of my foundational Black Americans specifically. You already know by now that I am a foundational Black American. Very, very proud of that. My great grandfather was born a slave. He was born in 1861. And so, I'm not that far removed from the atrocities of slavery, but that in and of itself becomes a completely different conversation. Afro, bro, I have heard so much tether babbling up here. I don't even know where to begin. So I'm just going to ask the panel for a little bit of latitude. The first point I want to make is, why are Black voters leaving the Democratic Party? Well, it's very simple. For the past 60 years, meaning well above 10 years beyond my years, have we been in a situation where Democrats have consistently promised that they were going to take care of us, that they were going to actually represent the people. Thank you, Nikki, for the love. And what has happened over time is absolutely nothing. Our communities are absolute trash. The only thing that is pristine in our communities are the churches, the liquor stores, the dispensaries, and the banks. Oh, and the abortion clinics. Can't forget about those, because all of that melanin being extracted for sales and, programs for NASA and so on and so forth. Google that on your own time, or you can pick up the Real Black Agenda. That's one, because you've had the ball for Black people for 60 years. You have promised and promised and promises, and usually your promises come with the Nene or a Beyonce concert or a Fat Joe concert or Quavo or whoever else is the flavor of the week this year, but absolutely nothing. Who's in New York? Thank you.
No,
Mute
his
yourself.
thing, you know.
And that's the thing. He should have muted himself 10 minutes ago. Now, when it comes to the whole Black jobs argument, before I get there, can I just say this? I will give every dime in my bank account if somebody can tell me when I have talked about the issues of the Congo. Oh, that's right, I haven't. You want to know why? That's not my affair. So I am sick and tired of tethers coming over here and telling us what we need to do. And you calling yourself an African American is not only disrespectful, but it's disingenuous. On top of that, we're not African Americans, we're foundational Black American, but you're trying to tether your way on here. That's why you were babbling. For the record, Charlize Theron is an African American. Elon Musk is an African American. And that's why we are delineating. That term does not fit us at all. Africa is a continent made of 54 countries, and none of them are getting along that well. Even in those 54 countries, there are thousands of tribes that are feuding. Even when foundational Black Americans went back to Africa in Liberia, you know what happened? They got infected, and now there's civil war all over the place, and Liberians are running here. The only good thing that has ever been mentioned about Liberia in my lifetime is Michael Jackson's Liberian Girl, starring John Travolta in the video. Now, when it comes to Black jobs, President Clinton, who, by the way, was a Democrat, but he ran like he was a different type of Democrat. Him and Al Gore were going to be tough on crime. He commissioned a study that was held by our sister, Barbara Jordan. And Barbara Jordan found that when you prioritize illegal immigration or legal immigration above the needs of foundational Black Americans, the middle class, the poor, and even the upper middle class of foundational Black Americans would suffer. And do you know what William Jefferson Clinton of Arkansas did? He fired Barbara Jordan and buried the report. These are all Googleable facts. So if you have an issue with Donald Trump talking about Black jobs, and you don't have an issue with Barbara Jordan talking about Black jobs and the adverse effect that was predicted over 30 years ago as to what would happen when we prioritize illegal immigrants over foundational Black Americans who have been paying taxes, not only in blood, but also in wages, you're a hypocrite, you're ignorant, you're whack, you're twisted, your girl's a hoe. Moving on. When it comes to ICE, because, and they don't like what they're doing with ICE, and they like what they're doing. It's funny because when Barack Obama was the president of these United States, CNN followed ICE at 2:00 in the morning and watched them do similar raids, all on tape. And everybody from every media news outlet, every last one of those liberal media news outlets that you love so much, literally was praising ICE. And you know who was in charge of ICE then? Who was appointed to be in charge of ICE then? Wait, it's the same guy who's in charge of ICE now. His name is Tom Homan, and he got the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his accuracy and his good work as the deporter-in-chief. Barack Hussein Obama got them illegals up out of here. Trump has only deported over 400,000. 1.6 million have self-deported because they need to get their asses out of my homeland. Now that we have all of that out of the way, do not tell me about justice and how much you care about people or how much the Democratic Party cares about people when the Stop Asian Hate bill, to Afro's point, got passed in 38.5 days, and the George Floyd Act is still sitting there like it's a Schoolhouse Rock reject. You must be kidding me. Then you want to tell me about racism and how somebody talks down to people, but you don't mention racist Joseph Robinette Biden of Delaware, who said that he felt like some of us were roaches. He didn't want us to live in a racial jungle. He went to the Congressional Coon Caucus and said, if you want to get anything done for black people, you're going to have to get with the Hispanics. He also said that he authorized 170 miles of wall. You know, that wall that you hate so much? Also, him and Barack created the cages that you talk about separating families from. So I'm trying to understand where you people get off. Number one, being in our business. Number two, not knowing your facts. Number three, thinking that voting blue no matter who is going to get you somewhere, because the clear definition of insanity is doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results. And that is why black people have themselves in a sling. Not only that, and finally, we go and we vote. We go and we sing, we go and we march, but we don't ever cut a check and buy these lame ass politicians. And then when it comes to people like Jasmine Crockett, who got propped up and tossed out like the set out chick she was, and tethers like Barack Obama and, I'm being generous with this, Kamala Harris, because I don't even believe that woman is black because she ain't produced one black relative who's actually genetically tied to her yet. I don't care what tethers do. Tethers are not my concern, but tethers seem to be concerned with me and my people. So until y'all sort all of that out and show me the lie I just told in the past 3.5 minutes, I need you to have every seat in the arena, and I yield.
All right. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. Appreciate that. Just notice, and this is how I knew you was going to be on some nonsense, dude. I knew it because you first came up and you said you were African American, knowing damn well. You knew damn well because you were pretty much in here trolling from the beginning. That's why I called you up. I told you to come up. So you knew damn well exactly what you were doing. You were in here before we set the decorum. All right. And you knew, and the thing is that I double checked because I'm like, I heard your accent when you first said it. I'm like, where's your ethnic background from? So you tried to be sneaky, and that's all the we and us and all of that stuff. Y'all trying to be sneaky with it.
Hey,
Okay.
listen, man. It seems like you guys, you guys should probably just run as Republicans.
No. Look.
Hey, listen, man.
Hold on.
You guys
This
are
is
right.
the
You guys
crash
are
out.
right.
This
You're
is the
right, guys.
crash
You
out.
guys
I
are
want y'all
right.
to understand. This is the crash out that
Obama
we're
is
talking
bad.
about.
Obama's not even black. Us black people that vote Democrats were just dumbass on a plantation. We get it. Maybe you guys should just call your Congress people Republican. Maybe they will do everything that you guys want. You guys, everything that you guys advocated for. So, hey, listen, I was trying
Where'd
to
you
come
say
up
you
here.
were? Hold on, stop. Don't overtalk. Where'd you say you were from again?
I don't know. I'm from the world.
You're from the
Congolese.
world. You're from the
Congolese.
world
You
now. You're
Congolese?
from the world now.
Yeah, I mean, because like I
No,
don't know. Well,
don't do that.
all I
He said you're the Congo. You're Congolese.
yeah. What's
How?
what's wrong with that?
I didn't say anything was wrong with it. I didn't say anything was wrong. I just asked where
Are we
you from.
black?
You the one who getting all defensive.
I'm not getting defenses. Like you guys are trying to make it like people from the Congo aren't black and like.
I asked where you're from.
And I just
Okay.
told you, brother.
But
I
you
just told
are
you
an
where I was born.
immigrant. You are an immigrant, and you do know that.
So
You are an
so
immigrant, and you didn't try
okay.
to make that clear. You tried to hide that. You came
I
off
did.
very disingenuous because you said you're African American.
Listen,
Knowing
guys.
damn well when you go home to your
Listen, guys.
Congolese family, you
I
don't say
felt
that.
like
You don't say
listen,
that.
before I'm gonna leave, but all I'm gonna say is like I'm just feel like I'm just watching like Fox News right now. This is like all like.
All right, you're done. All that passive aggressive nonsense you
guys.
got. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
bye. You don't
take
got
that to the kitchen at Olive
Just
Garden
go.
and make me some breadsticks, sir.
Yeah, just go. That passive aggressive nonsense is egregious. I already knew, like you said, when he came up talking about I'm African American. Okay, you don't know how to leave. I leave. I got you. Don't worry about it. I do you a favor. that passive aggressive BS that he started with, like, oh, I'm African American, I'm black, and then I'm Congolese. So I already knew where he was going with it, but he actually displayed perfectly what Denzimus said earlier about the what did he say, finger wagging? I think he said something else by accident. It was the greatest. I ain't get there, but but finger wagging, he got, but he did it passive aggressively, because they do it, more up front a lot of times, where it's just guilt tripping or shaming black people because, oh, you're a Republican or you're conservative or you don't agree with the Democrats, you're betrayed in your race. So they do that blatantly. But what he displayed was on the other half of that is how they be so passive aggressive with it. Well, because he couldn't even acknowledge the point that you made that, if they didn't pass the bill in California, what's the hold up? What's the hold up over there? Oh, well, I mean, they could, but do you think if they really passed it, do you think the Republicans would they really pass it, even if it does go there? So you can't even acknowledge that, even if you would have took the time to just say, you know what, yeah, that's a good point. But you know what? Okay, so let's say they do it. If they do it, what happens if it goes? Well, we're not getting that far yet. We just worry about the Democrats. So the fact that he's trying to jump over that, you're still caping for them. You don't even want to hold them accountable to the slightest. And that's the problem that a lot of black Americans are picking up with the Democrats that y'all aren't being honest about, is that y'all really doing the same shit. Because the conservatives do the same thing. Like, we idiots for being on the Democrats, and then the Democrats are we idiots for trying to be conservatives or being with the Republicans. So either way, y'all playing the same game, and they don't want to be honest about that. So it is what it is. They expose themselves.
Somebody in the chat room asked, and then we're going to move on to the next speaker. Somebody in the chat room asked, who do I think would fight more for reparations, Democrats or Republicans? And that's a good question. Let me answer this question by saying this. Both of them have conveyed clearly that they don't want reparations, except one of them has conveyed it through their words. One of them said, hey, no, we're not doing that. Another one has conveyed that through their actions. All right. Let me be abundantly clear. I'm going to be honest. I prefer people being honest with me. I prefer politicians at least being honest. I prefer them saying, at least I'm opposed to it. Okay. And then we can deal with that then. At least we're clear on where you stand. I would rather that than have somebody say, actually, I'm for it, but then they wind up killing the bill. They wind up not letting the bill come to life. They wind up stalling and having different task force for years and years and years and years and kicking the can down the road. I would rather somebody at least come out in front and say, actually, no, I'm not really for it. And then I'll go from there. I think it's a harder fight to deal with somebody who's lying and saying they're supporting reparations, okay, versus somebody who's saying that they don't like it, to be very honest with you. I'd rather deal with the honest person. And they both don't, so I'd rather deal with the person who being honest about it. So that's where I'm at with it. Let's get to FBA General. FBA General, you got it.
Hey, hello, family. How y'all doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good? You got it? We hear you.
Yeah, I'm good. First off, I appreciate you letting me speak, bro. I've been following you on YouTube for a while. Been following you, and I'm gonna continue to follow you. I mean, I respect you so much, bro. First of all. Second of all, while we delineate, I'm so glad we delineating from these tethers, man. For that bozo that came up, I forgot his name, from the Congo. He nobody anyway. But what I got to say is, another thing, I'm so glad that we leaving these Democrats and behind us until they cut the check, man, because they've been playing our face for I don't know how long. The first time I woke up was when Obama. Second time he did nothing for us. I've been registered still since, but I ain't voted for nobody until I see tangibles. And people was looking at me like I was crazy. Like, and they got to the point where I started feeling like I was crazy, like, until I started seeing more people of our people on the same type time on YouTube, Twitter, all that. I said, okay, I'm not crazy then. It's because I'm in Delaware. This is Democratic Central too. This is vote blue no matter who here, and I can't stand it. But I'm gonna keep voting for the couch. Thank God we delineating, because I know this is His will why we delineating in the first place. This is written in the scriptures, and we gonna keep delineating, and they gonna keep holding they own nuts, these tethers, and this country is going down until they give us what they owe, man. God is upset, and He gonna continue to keep letting His fire off until they do what they supposed to do, man. This place would have been flourishing right now if they would have been stood on business and gave us what they owed us. And these tellers got nerve to come and talk about we begging. No, you begged when y'all came over here, beg to come over here. We built this. This is our homeland. We don't have to beg. We don't have to beg for nothing. We get everything out the muscle. I literally just got off work. So I don't get no handouts. It's not a handout to get what you owe. So you tellers can quit that, and you white T supremacists that stay in our mix too. I'm sure y'all listening. You devils definitely need to be quiet, because some of the handout, y'all got a whole system that's giving y'all a handout, and some of y'all still fail. We'll show you how much of a degenerate that y'all are. Now back to these tethers, man. Again, I'm so glad ICE getting y'all up out of here. They not doing their job fast enough for me. I support them 1,000%. I wish they passed a bill where every person that you report, you get money like they do in certain states. Man, listen. On everything I love, I'll be killing them out here with this bread, man. I wouldn't give a, you know what? I start at Home Depot and keep going. You feel me? So yeah, I'm gonna still keep trying to send a message, keep trying to help unite our people in my own way. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, because God's behind us, man. And I appreciate y'all. And thank you for letting me speak, bro.
Okay. Appreciate that. Smith, I'm gonna drop you and him so I can get the next two people, because we don't got too much time today. But first off, and I appreciate everybody. If y'all disagree, y'all can come up. Don't just say it in the chat room. I'll just say come up and we have a conversation. But y'all see, first off, when you lie about one thing, tends to be you'll lie about everything. The fact he lied about his ethnic background, knowing damn well he is not an African American. No, he know damn well he was not. He know damn well he was lying. And the whole, well, I'm really doing this because of Medicaid. He didn't want to say he did it because of immigration. And then when he admitted he did it because of immigration, then he said, oh yeah, because there's Hispanics who are working the dishwasher. No, you mean yourself. You mean yourself. You ain't doing it because of somebody at your restaurant working the dishwasher and you want him to go home to his family. No, you're talking about yourself, and you're trying to be dishonest. But we see through it.
When he mentioned the dishwasher, do y'all know what I thought of? Because he tried to make it seem like dishwashers aren't problematic when I thought of Scarface. And they started off as dishwashers.
Hey, that's true. That's true.
I thought of Bruce Lee.
That's true. They did.
I thought of Bruce Lee when
they started off as Scar. Yeah, they did.
I thought of the Bruce Lee movie when they was making fun of how he was a dishwasher, So, but I got the same understanding. They crazy.
Yeah, but you were next, bro. So you might as well go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm here in District 30 in Dallas, Texas, and so to answer the prompt, I was awakened to the Democratic Party Obama's first term when he ran. I won't lie, I did vote for him, but that was the last time I personally decided to ever vote for anything Democrat. And it was just based on the information and research I started doing at that time. From that point to now, it led me to not vote for it. It led me to seek policy and ask, who am I really voting for? Because these people may look like me. Are they really doing what it takes for me and my community to benefit? And they hadn't, and they have never done that. And I heard Brother David on top of me say, talking about the Black Caucus. I call them the tethered Black Caucus, because most of them have been first or second, maybe third generation at the most, immigrants. And, they do everything they can to vote against what's in our best interest, but they wanting us to vote in theirs. So I was going to ask David, they're sitting here making it seem like Jasmine Crockett was such a great person, and no one was ready for her to go to the next plateau. But and you may not know this, but do you know Bernice Johnson held her Congress seat for 30 years? Like, are people not doing the research and actually finding out? Like, they're saying, well, now they want to say, well, we meant from the Senate seat. Well, but she got removed from her Congress seat, and it was a black woman that was there for 30 years. Like, if America wasn't ready for black women to be in positions of power, there wouldn't have been a black woman in Congress for Dallas, Texas for 30 years, man. Like, I think that's the part that's blowing me is we're making it seem like the world, or I'm sorry, America ain't ready for black women to be in positions of power. When even if you look at Madam C.J. Walker, she was one of the first black millionaires. Like, black women have always been in a position of corporate power or corporate structure in places where some black men may not have been, which is fine. But we can't keep putting this off saying the world ain't ready for black women to be in positions of power when they have always been there. Like, am I tripping, David? Like, am I overthinking it? Like, is my research, am I, like, there have been black women in positions of Congress even before, like, what am I missing?
Here's what you're missing, and it's just Dave. David is for the
Dave, I'm sorry,
IRS and
Dave.
my
My bad,
mama.
Dave. My bad.
Here's what I need you to understand. The first thing is I used to live in the Metroplex, so I know exactly how
I
it
know,
goes.
I know exactly where you used to live. I've been
Yeah.
moving. Yeah, my bad. My bad.
So no, it's all good. The thing that I need people to understand is this is what they do. They sit up here and they put themselves in bad positions, and then they deflect and try to blame everybody. So what wound up happening was she got redistricted. When she got redistricted, her seat disappeared. Then Freddie Haynes went and ran for another seat, and then that's what happened there. So Jasmine, up against what the DNC said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go be a senator. And they said, no, you won't. We want Tellerico. And then what winds up happening is she's like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And then all of a sudden they started doing what they always do, because what did Malcolm say 60 some odd years ago? Watch out for the white liberals. The liberals will stab you in the back 6 inches, pull the knife out 3, and call it progress. So they darkened her pictures on every type of post. They made sure they put 5 times the money behind Tellerico. Then they went and got Obama for whichever multi-million-dollar mansion he was. I don't know if it's Chicago, Hawaii, God only knows, Martha's Vineyard, I don't know. But he came and he did a one-on-one interview, and he was just talking about how great Tellerico is, this, that, and the third. And then it was a wrap, because all they do, especially when it comes to black women, because black women tend to vote, and this is statistically, that's why they're at 92%. They vote emotionally and they appeal to those emotions. They said, okay, cool, let's go ahead and hammer this situation out. And that's exactly what they did. And so now she finds herself without a home, and she's got no Crockett or no window to throw it out of, and that's completely on her. They wanted who they wanted. They used her for sister girl logic, because before she got elected, she was talking as eloquently as I talk, as Easy talks, like normal, regular black people, as Afro talks. And then she's got to be honey, and come on, man. So it's all a game, and then she got bit because the house always wins. That's what happened. So you're not crazy. You're just informed, and the majority of the electorate is not, and they choose to stay uninformed by watching MSDNC or whatever else they're watching.
I'm saying to the point that she only even got 62% of the black vote here in her own district. Like, that was it. Like, and I'm bringing up that number because, and I'm emphasizing on the black part, is because if the black women and the black men that supported that are Democrats really wanted her, I mean, she would have at least got 75, 80, maybe 90%. For her to only get 62% in Dallas, and then they want to make up all of a sudden where the polls close early. Man, if we only look at the last 2 hours, we wasn't prepared to win or lose from the jump, because I voted early just because I wanted to make sure I had my vote, and my son, who was this his first time voting. So, like, we made sure we voted early just because, like, it's just crazy how they making up these excuses to, now they election deniers. And I thought that was a bad thing to do, was to deny the election.
I'm gonna let Dave respond to that real quick, and then after that, we're gonna
I'm gonna drop
move
that.
on to the next couple speakers. But before he does, this is what I was saying before. Okay, I was saying now people are like, yeah, a lot of black women. Somebody came up and was like, yeah, 80% of black people vote for Democrats. I'm like, nah, 80% of the black turnout happen to have been for Democrats. We have to understand the wording there. The turnout mostly will go for Democrats. Yeah, we know that because there's just some people who ain't gonna leave. However, the turnout, the percentage of the turnout, the total number is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. 80% of a million is not the same as 80% of 500,000. It's not the same. Let's be very clear with that. All right. I just wanted, let's be clear. Now, Dave, I know you wanted to respond to that, and then we're going to move on to next.
Thank you for having me up, host.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I think it's a situation where, and again, whether you vote early, whether you vote often, whether you choose to vote for the couch, you have more control over who is WWE champion than you do who gets elected, especially in these types of elections when they have handpicked who they have handpicked. These people are selected. They just take the S off because they know that y'all don't pay attention to anything. What we need to start doing is voting with our dollars and come with an agenda. This is why I wrote the Real Black Agenda, and I'm not plugging the book for the sake of plugging the book. I'm plugging it so that you can understand what we need to do. Tariq put out an agenda. Ice Cube put out one with Dr. Claude Anderson, and foundational Black Americans did not listen. And now we find ourselves in this sling again because we keep looking for a political solution to a foundational Black American problem that has been dropped into our laps. And we need to start focusing on our finances, our freedom, and our future. And I yield.
Anybody who disagrees, I want you to press the number 1 in the chat, or press 2. If you disagree, press 2 in the chat room, and then request to come up, and we'll have a conversation. But until then, we're going to move on to the next hand or the next person, and we're going to get to, because we're not going to be on too long. We're going to get to Mont Fu. But before we do that, hold on, ZZ, I know you kind of pressed for time. I don't know if you want to say any last thing before we get this final panel going.
Give me 1 second. I'm about to walk in here. My background kind of loud.
Got you. Okay, Mont Fu, go ahead. You got it.
What's good? How the family? Everybody doing?
We good, brother. We good.
Yeah, South Carolina FBA. But my thing is, I've been off the Democrat train, man. There's a lot that come with it. But I want to correct the Congolese guy that came up there. He said the reason why we got money during the pandemic was for the Democrats, House and Senate. Yeah, they passed the bill, but Trump, they don't know. Trump signed it back and told them it wasn't enough money. They passed originally for 600, and Trump said no, that's not enough. Give them more. But I just wanted to add that to what he was saying. But my main thing, me personally, man, it's more about like the transitioning minors. It's their policies. Like I'm not for that. I'm not for they'll party for immigrants in that community. I'm just gonna say that community because I don't want to get nobody's flag. But that's what they're party for. The transitioning minors. I can't go with that. I'm a man. I'm a real man that got morals, values, and principles. I can't stand for nobody having for transitioning minors. I can't stand for boys to play in girls sports. I got three daughters. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, it's not cool, bro. It's no way I can put my faith in somebody that's for that. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And they don't got no black legislation, period, on the table. I ain't heard none of these Democrats put no black legislations on the table. They don't care about reparations. And then they sit and they play in our face and they be like, oh, like with the ID. Oh, they trying to go against black people with the man. Black people got IDs, bro. Y'all using us because y'all really for the illegal immigrants. Y'all want the legal immigrants, bro, but y'all trying to use us like it's for black. We got IDs, bro. I'm in the hood. We got IDs. Everybody got IDs. So you can't be saying like we don't got IDs and we run around with IDs. It's just like they just so disingenuous, man. And I can go on and on, but I don't want to know. I know you pressed for time. But the main thing, man, I got too much morals, and I got 3 daughters. Y'all forcing y'all letting little boys play with girl sports, man, and really win medals and win golds and like, come on, man, who can be for that as a man? How can you stand for that? You know, that's not cool. But I'm gonna drop down. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, cool. Well, all right, appreciate that. Let's get to Mel Moves. You got it.
Hey, what's going on, family? What's going on, Afro Elite? How's everything?
Good. How you doing?
All right. Well, the topic is, why people are leaving the Democratic Party. I think a lot of it is because, on the outside looking in, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, but I think from the outside looking in that they're tired of being a part of this major contradiction that the Democratic Party holds and being subjected to this major contradiction. Like two cases, an example, like during the pandemic, you had the Democratic Party goers who were scalding people, who were ridiculing people for not being vaccinated. They're saying, you had to
Hold
point of
on, just
Democrat.
I don't know if those are safe words to say on TikTok, but
Uh,
just go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, well, not be whatever. And they were saying that, you know, we hope that you're unalive because you're not, basically whatever you could say or can't say. But then a year later, they opened the borders and let millions of whatever people into the country, and you don't hear a word from the Democratic Party goers about that. And just recently, my man was trying to say finger wagged, and with Obama, he, his number one thing was the brothers not advocating for a quote unquote black female, not voting for a black female. And the Democratic supported him. Then just recently with the election right here with Jasmine Crockett, he does the exact opposite and goes against a black
Right.
woman against for a white person. And the problem is you hear nothing from the Democratic Party. They go silent. So I think that they're getting tired of being part of this major contradiction that they can't defend, and they can't continue on to, well, what about Trump? Or what about that's getting old and stale. And I think that they're now realizing that they have no defense and they need to, I guess, think of other options. But yeah, that's it for that. I think that, they're getting tired of being a part of a major contradiction. And that's what they've been dealing with for the last, I don't know how many years.
That's a solid point. All of that y'all hating on the black woman, they did that a lot with Kamala. Y'all just don't want to see it. It's the thing, y'all intimidated by a powerful black woman. That's what they were saying, right? Okay, and how down they were for black women and black women in power and all that stuff. The same exact party decided to pick a white man over the black woman. Okay, and you don't see these same people, you don't see them saying nothing. Okay, you don't see them saying nothing. It shows their hypocrisy. They will use black women, okay, as a prompt pretty much to push an agenda. It's nothing more. It's not about no supporting black women or black women in power or representation. It's about pushing the agenda. And they felt like, hey, for the image of the party, Jasmine Crockett does not have a high position. She don't, and they don't care how. And she's actually black. I will give it to Jasmine. She's actually black. That one, Kamala's not. But the actual real black women, they actually, you see, they don't support like that. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. Good point. Let's get to Petun. How do you pronounce your name, sister?
Petunia.
Petunia. Okay, I didn't want to mispronounce
Yeah.
it.
I would just like to say I'm really tired of everybody trying to say why are you voting Republican, which I'm really not a Republican, but I'm damn sure not a goddamn Democrat. Them Democrat policies for years been harming our people, and we just been voting blue no matter who, just to get. We're waking up now, people. All the policies from mass incarceration, all these policies come from the Democrats. These policies don't come from the Republicans. These policies come from the Democrats. So
That's not true.
people,
No, don't interrupt. Come on, because you don't want nobody interrupting
so
you. Don't do that.
so mass incarceration didn't come. No, I would like,
Hold on.
I want to learn. So
Okay,
mass
we're gonna get you.
incarceration didn't come from the Democratic Party.
Hold on. No, make your statement, because if we have a back and forth, then other people are not gonna be able to speak. We got to order and everything. We're gonna get to.
Okay, I'm just saying most of the policies that harm black people, like illegal immigration, You see how hard they fighting for illegal immigration? They ain't never fought for us like that. Putting all black people under one category, them are not policies that's harming us. Getting all these people in the Senate that's not from that don't have our struggle and acting like they have our struggle, that's not harming us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the Republicans doing that?
All right, yeah. Let's be honest with it. Come on now, let's be honest with it. What they saying and what they doing is not the don't meet, don't match, don't match. What they saying and what they doing are two totally different things. All right, let's get to, because I do want to get to what you got to say, Batty B. I do want to get to that, but we're gonna get to Authentic Man real quick, and then we're gonna get to you because I want to hear exactly why you disagree.
Doing this afternoon, man. I appreciate you for having me up. Just so you know, I've been following you for a while, but this is my first time actually coming up on a panel to speak on the prompt, man. I appreciate the work you're doing, man. Keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate
Listen, absolutely. So the question is why black was leading Democrats, and my thing is this. Now I've been trying to tell people this probably since VP Harris was running for president a couple of years ago. The playbook is dead. I'm sorry, unalived. I'm sorry, TikTok language. Their playbook is outdated. And what I mean by that is this. Yes, we know that racism in this country, or actually around the world, still exists. Okay. Unfortunately, it's not going anywhere. Is that to say that we're supposed to stop fighting against it or speaking against it? That's not what I'm saying. But you can't continue to run on that. And also, number 47 is a tyrant. He's a dictator. Orange man, Cheeto man. You can't keep running on that and nothing else. You know what I'm saying? It's played out. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people are leaving, because what other solutions are you going to come up with besides racism and orange man bad? It's old. It's outdated. It's played out. You know what I mean? Now watch this here also. So in regards to the two, to VP Harris and Crockett, if you notice, they both ran the same strategy. And what I mean by that is this. VP Harris, they pushed her out as a candidate, watch this, with 3 months left in the election cycle. And their delusion led them to believe that this woman was going to come out because everybody was supposed to hate Trump so bad that she was going to just slide to this easy win, and they were sadly mistaken. Okay. Tallarico, who beat Crockett, he threw his name in the hat last September. Watch this. Crockett threw her name in the ring for that Senate race 3 months ago, right? And so that strategy that I can just come out with 3 months left before the election is just insane to me. What time do you have to campaign? What time do you have to put boots on the ground? She didn't hit no rural areas in Texas. I live in Texas, and I'm gonna say this here before I land, host. And I tried to give people information on another panel, but people get triggered when facts come out. Okay, Texas historically is a red state. Okay, for the last 30, 40 years. Okay, and so she faced an uphill climb, even if she would have beat Tallarico. Tallarico is going to get slaughtered against a Republican candidate because Texas has not had a Democratic senator in over 30 years.
Yeah.
Okay. The last one was Lloyd Bentsen, and he served from 1971 to 1993. Bob Kruger, before that 93, he got appointed and then he lost in a special election. There hasn't been a Democratic senator since then. Okay. So yeah, it was nice to try to go in and make history, but the history was not on your side based on the fact that Texas is a red state. And I land my plane.
Yeah, that's a good point. We can talk about the strategy or lack thereof when it comes to the whole campaign, because that campaign was flawed in a lot of ways. But even when they talk about racism and all that stuff, but they don't do anything to solve that. There's a lot of issues that they bring up like carrots on a stick, like cheese on a stick, right? but they don't do anything to solve that. Voters' rights. They've had so many years of being able to do anything that would permanently solve voters' rights, that would permanently solve the American healthcare issue. They've had so many opportunities, so many years. They don't want to solve that, okay? Because they need a problem to run on. It's interesting because that's exactly what the Democrats blamed Trump of doing in the last election. If you remember the debate between Harris and Trump, Harris said that Trump called his people and his friends to get the Republicans to pull out of a bipartisan bill, a bipartisan border bill, because Trump needed immigration as an issue to run on. Let's say he did. I wouldn't put it past him. Honestly, it sounds like something he would do. I'm not even going to put it past him. Let's say he did. He needed immigration as something to run on. Okay. However, I'm going to be honest. The Democrats show that they are all terrible with immigration. Every single last one of them. Okay. The whole party is terrible with immigration. However, they are utilizing issues. They're literally putting band-aids when they need to put stitches in issues. They're deliberately putting temporary fixes like Obamacare. That's not permanent. Okay. Medicare, Medicaid, all that doesn't really fix the healthcare affordability crisis. That's just like a coupon for certain people who qualify. That's not fixing the actual issue. And they're not doing that because they need that to be an issue to run on. They need voter issues to be an issue to run on. They need these things. Like I said, in the last 20 years, they've had more ability to do what they've wanted more than the Republicans, and they are getting nothing done. Somebody says I'm wrong. Come up and talk to me. Before we get to that, let's get to Batty B. How you doing?
Hi, so I just wanted to jump in and say that I'm not going to say I 100% disagree with you and
Okay.
anyone on the panel, but I do feel like a lot of you guys are maybe like a bit upset just because of the current economic climate and what the Democrats
One
have done
moment,
within the
one
recent
moment.
years.
Your ethnic
But I
group,
also feel like,
ethnic group, Afro Asker, her
Yeah,
ethnic
I
group.
oh,
remember
I am
that.
a
Yeah.
Black American. My great 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 grandparents were slaves, and they were like, I'm Black. I'm Black
I
Black.
remember you. I remember you.
So
You've
what
been
I'm
in
saying
before.
is I do feel like a lot of you guys are misinformed and upset just because of the current economic climate. Because to be honest, the Democrats haven't really done anything for the Black American community within the last couple of years. I do feel like there was a shift to immigration and LGBTQ rights only because they make up a larger demographic than what Black Americans do. So they're no longer centering our issues because we're not helping them win the elections. Now,
Okay, you say, but the thing is that the immigrants aren't helping them win the elections either. The
they're
Hispanics are
not
not
helping them
helping
win
them
the
win
elections, but
elections.
the immigrants do pay taxes, which end up
Okay,
funding the
so
federal
is it?
assistance programs, and we
But
need
Batty,
that
is it
in
about
order
helping them win
to fund
elections?
low.
But is it about helping them win elections, or is it about them paying taxes?
It's
And let's
about
be
them
honest.
paying taxes. Yeah,
Do you think the LGBT pays more taxes than Black Americans? Do you
I
think
do
that?
think
Like, come
there's a
on now.
larger LGBT population than there are Black Americans.
Mm, based off of what? Based off of what statistic do you have?
So I don't have a. I will admit I don't have a statistic for that, but I do feel like there are more people that are like in the LGBT community than the Black American population.
You
That's
So
a
think
this
lie.
is
you
false.
That's
you
definitely a
what
lie. That's
based off of
untrue.
what though? Based off of
What?
what? Well, I've never heard that before. Because they say the Black percentage in the whole country is the Black American population is about what 14-15%. What percentage do you think of the country is LGBT?
Mm, I mean, I don't know. So I'm not going to get into that, but I do feel like if you take their population and then take the migrant population, that population overrides the Black population for sure.
Okay, so land there, because we're not going to have misinformation.
Yeah.
If
Then
you
somebody's
take
going.
away
Well,
percent,
I did
1
not say that
minute,
that was
Daddy,
a
no,
fact.
because you made the claim. So this is for everybody else in the room who may be influenced by the lady named Batty B.
I'm
If
not
you
a
take
tether, so
away
I don't know who is
percentages
saying
and you
that.
go
I'm
by
Black.
ethnic groups, Black Americans are the second largest ethnic group in the country outside of the Germans, and even that is questionable, right? So the LGBT community is said to be 1% of the population. right? And Black Americans greatly outnumber the melanated immigrants, meaning the Caribbean and the African immigrants, right? The Hispanics are said to be larger than us, but I doubt it if you break it down by ethnic group. Does that make sense?
I mean, but how can you say that
I'm
you
talking to
doubt it, but
Afro and
I can't
ZD and
Yeah, it
Dave,
claim what
does.
and
I
when
But
I
I
see?
want
It
you to
asked
does
them
finish
make
your.
that
Hold
sense.
on.
question.
I want you to finish your statement. That way we can fully respond to you.
Oh
Okay. So
no, the
finish what you
additional
got
thing
to
that I
say.
was gonna comment is that like I said, I do feel like the Democrats no longer center issues for Black Americans. And I feel like maybe that's our fault as a community because not gonna lie, like we're not really keeping our foot on their necks. Like I feel like back then our ancestors they were more connected and they fought more for their issues than our current generation. A lot of people are just at home on their phone, upset, and they're not really doing anything to like mobilize the community and to help people push forward so that our ideologies and things that we want are centered when it comes to our party. We're not really outside like that anymore.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You're saying that it's our fault. Let's take it's not fully because they're
I'm
literally
not saying it is
supposed to
our
be
fault, but I feel like
representatives.
there's more
Okay,
that
so
we
it's
can
their
do.
responsibility. But let's say it's we should have done better with making sure that we demand things and making sure we don't give our vote away. We can, and I will take accountability for that. And the community clearly is changing our political behavior. We clearly are. However, my thing is this is that you're saying that it's our fault that the Democrats are catering to other groups of people. And then when we have a conversation about it, you're in the chat room disagreeing. My thing is that we can never hold the Democrats accountable without you, because you said that when the other sister talked about the crime bill, you said she was wrong. Every time we say something about the Democrats, we'll have somebody coming up here. What about the Republicans? As you've been saying in the chat room, the Republicans ain't doing, as you've been trying to deflect to the Republicans, trying to save face for the Democrats. When are we? And you're doing the exact thing that you're saying. You're blocking the exact same thing that you're saying that we should be doing. You said we should be holding the Democrats accountable. But every time anybody attempts to do that, you will have somebody talking about, oh no, hold on. What about the Republicans though? What about the Republicans? Come on.
I mean, but is that a lie though? Like
But
historically,
no,
what
but
have the
you can't
Republicans
hold.
done for
No,
the Black
no, no,
Americans?
no. It is. Hold on. It's not up. It is not about it being a lie. Because if we were talking about Donald Trump, you wouldn't be talking about what about the Democrats. You wouldn't. Be honest. You wouldn't. If we
No, I
were
mean I
talking
wouldn't because there's nothing the Democrats can really
exactly.
do right
Stop.
now.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay, we can talk all we want to about the Republicans, all we want to about Donald Trump and the GOP, and nobody will complain. The second we hold any type of energy for the Democrats, y'all want to come up and save face. Y'all want to come up and defend the Democrats, and then you want to say it's our fault for them catering to other groups of people. How are you going to blame us when you're the people blocking us? You're their protectors and saying we should be holding them accountable.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't. Okay, can I? Let me just rephrase what I was gonna say. So I'm not saying that you guys are wrong, and I'm not against
Mm-hmm.
what you're trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is that you can I mean, yeah, you can hold Democrats accountable, and I do feel like they could be doing more. But I also feel like to fully switch over to being a Republican is crazy because
That's who's,
historically the
You're
Republicans
missing the
haven't done
point.
anything for
ma'am,
Black
Going over
Americans.
your
nobody,
head, baby.
nobody on this whole panel this entire time has said that. Nobody. That's a straw man argument. Nobody has said that at all.
Mm. Yeah, and I think she knows what she's doing. She's being disingenuous, though. This
I'm
whole
not.
thing,
I mean, I'm not being
even with
disingenuous.
the you gonna hold up, even with the point you're trying to make that they're focusing on LGBTQ because they're more of the population. Even if that were the case, which is not, um, LGBT, immigrants, any other group. No, none of these people are foundational to this country. None of these people are owed a check outside of, with the exception of the Black Foundation of Black American LGBT. But let's be honest, when the Democrats are referring to LGBT, they talking about the YTs because they take up most of that demographic any damn way, and that's who who they always focus on. That's their main preference for any group. So let's be honest here. Regardless, if that were the case or not, whatever demographic is larger or smaller than ours, the point is we are old. They know that. They're running off of that. That's why they keep playing, toying with us with this reparation shit and the deals, but holding it up. And they want to blame the shit on the Republicans, just like the dude earlier did. So let's not do that. How about you just hold these people accountable? This is why people aren't listening to y'all no more. Listen to yourself. You sound crazy as hell, not holding them to the most basic extent. This is for you talking about being all pro-black. These people got to point out that's how you're so treacherous. You're such a treacherous black person for being a Republican, but you don't even hold these damn white folks on your side accountable. Let's just okay.
Okay, so what is the
Disingenuous. I
solution?
ain't wrong with it.
The solution is holding people accountable,
I'm done with this girl.
and realizing the solution is realizing our political power and acting on it. Okay. And calling out people who defend that nonsense. Let's be abundantly clear, right? Because you can't sit up there and talk about we need to hold them accountable, and then when we hold them accountable, you say that we need to focus on the Republicans. And this is exactly what y'all
I
been,
didn't say that.
ma'am.
When the
You
Republicans
yeah,
is
you
not
did
even
I
say it
being
in
didn't
the
say
chat.
we
South
need to
Road.
focus on
You
the
did
Republicans. I said that we
you've
can
been
criticize the
deflecting,
Democratic Party, but
ma'am.
to say flip over
No,
and say
stop. You've
and make
been
it seem like you're a
deflecting. Stop.
Republican
Don't, you're not
when they
overtalking
haven't done
me.
anything.
You're not going to overtalk me. You have been deflecting on the Republicans in the chat room. And then you said you disagreed. You were one of the people I saw, which is why I said, if you disagree, press 2 and then come up. You said you disagreed and I let you up. That's why. Okay. Because every single time us as a community says, hey, the Democrats are doing this, the Democrats are doing this, you admit now that the Democrats are abandoning Black Americans. You're not even refuting that. You're trying to rationalize that. You're trying to justify that. You're not even refuting the fact that we are being abandoned by the Democrat representatives, but you're just trying to come up with some type of excuse and justification for it. Oh, well, they make up a higher percentage. And that's why I said, based off of what? Based off of what? Oh, based off of nothing. Because there's been absolutely no statistic that backs that up. All of the percentage that we've had in recent date shows them being a very small, less than 3% of the population.
Can I ask you a question?
What's your question?
Okay, so
And then we're going to move
what
on. What's your
states
question?
make up what states have the biggest Black demographic of African Americans? Which states?
Why don't you look that up for yourself? She can look that up for herself.
Yeah,
She don't have
well,
to ask you that.
okay. Well, the states make up the biggest demographic of Black, like percentage, you mean?
Yes.
Percentage, it would probably be, I think it was Mississippi last time I checked. Mississippi or like Alabama.
What you mean, Black Americans?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think total population would be Texas though. But what's the
So
why are
don't
you
those
asking that?
states historically vote Republican, right?
You said what? Those states? Yeah, those states do, yeah.
So if the Democratic states have smaller Black American populations, why would the Democrats focus on just getting our vote if we're only a small percentage of what they actually need to win the election?
Well, you're saying it's a small percentage of smaller or small, because that's a different thing. First off, that's a good question. I will answer that question by saying and proving what we all know is that the Black vote, no matter how small or whatever the case is the swing vote. Okay. Now, the biggest percentage, and that's kind of you worded the question interesting. All right. Even if I give you the benefit of the doubt, yeah, maybe in Mississippi or Alabama, one of the two, last time I checked. But the thing is, they need North Carolina. They need South Carolina. Most of that is fully Black. Most of that is Black, and they don't cater to Black people there. They need that, and Virginia, and they don't cater to Black people there at all. You can go to those states. I've been to those states. You can go to those states and look. They need Georgia. They don't cater to Black people in Georgia either. Okay, let me be abundant. They don't cater to them. This is the reason why you could flip, just like they flipped Georgia. You can flip these states if they really put the time and effort to it, but they're not. They don't care about the South. They don't care about those states, which is why they're losing. They're losing the states that we need, even if because all of them don't live, all Black people, Black Americans don't live in the South. We historically know that the Black vote is the swing vote. We determine who gets in and who doesn't. So it would just make political sense to cater, and nobody's saying exclusively, but it would make political sense to put black issues at the forefront. And those are the only issues they refuse to do. Those are quite literally the only issues they refuse to do.
Exactly.
Let everybody else
Yeah, I
run
mean, I
under our
understand what you're
struggle.
saying, and I also
They
feel
let
like
every
we
other
still.
melanated
Okay.
person run under our struggle. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, I get what you're saying, and I think the point that I'm just trying to make is that if they're trying to win an election, why would they focus on catering to a certain demographic that doesn't make up majority of the population in a particular state
But
or
here's the
county?
thing. What state, let me ask you. Okay, good question. Good question. Great question. Great question. What state where is the majority of the population LGBT? Let me ask you that question. Since you said that it's okay for them to cater to them and focus on them, give me any state in America where majority of the population is LGBT.
Now
And
that I
I'll end
can't
it.
answer because I don't have that
Because there
statistic.
is
But I
none.
also feel like
Because
the
there
point,
no,
I
you
think,
don't have the information
can I
because
just say
that
one thing
doesn't
is that I'm
exist
not
and you
trying
know
to
that.
argue or refute you guys. I don't view you as
No,
less than because of
I'm
your
not,
opinion.
ma'am. I
I know,
just
but they
showed
going
the
ham in the comments, calling me all
inconsistency.
types of
Hold
stuff.
on, don't focus on the comments. Focus on the conversation in the panel. I showed the inconsistency of that logic. You just said it doesn't make sense for them to cater because we make up a small percentage. Okay, we're well over 10 times the percentage of the LGBT, yet they're catered to, and you admit that, and you try to justify that. Okay, the immigrants, and let's just talk about the ones that can vote, because a lot of them can't vote at all, period. And then a lot of the ones that can vote actually do vote Republican. When you talk about Hispanics, we can't talk about them as one big voting block. You have to dissect them and break them up, okay? Because Mexicans and Puerto Ricans are not the same. Cubans are not the same. And when you actually look at their voting behavior, most of them don't vote Democrat. So it would only make the most sense to focus on the swing vote block, which is the black vote. That's what makes the most sense. And that's why they're losing.
But that's to you, though. I feel like
No, how?
it's
Okay,
strategic
that's
in
not
order
to
to
me.
win a
That's
campaign.
not to
Even
me.
I'm not saying it's right that they're not focusing on an issue, that they're
No.
focused on other groups. But what I'm saying is to strategically win a campaign, they're going to have to focus on a particular demographic that makes up the majority, and that's what they've been doing, and that's why they haven't done anything for Black people
Okay,
within the
okay,
past
there.
couple of
Okay,
years.
fine. Before we move on, just answer one question. How is that working out? How is that working out for him?
It's not. It's not working out, and I
Thank
think
you.
that is why
Thank you.
people are upset. But
Thank
I
you.
was just only coming on to say
Thank you.
that is not within their current strategy to win
Their current
elections
strat,
going
yeah.
forward. But I feel
Okay.
like switching over
But
to
the
being a
thing is
Republican
that you're
is
trying to,
not
ma'am,
conducive to our.
ma'am,
Assuming we're
ma'am, you're
Republicans.
trying to justify their current strategy, and there's no justification for it.
I just
Okay.
have one question.
Wait,
Why
Petunia,
Hold
do
wait,
on.
1 minute, Petunia, 1 minute.
sorry.
Because this lady assumes, right, that we're Republican just because we're talking about the Democrats. So you're either really not of our lineage or you just really don't know Black American history and the fact that many of our ancestors were actually what? Republicans. But I'm not a Republican. I left the Democrat Party in 2016 and went into the non-party voting registry, okay? So I don't have loyalty to any party. I'm going to vote policy over party loyalty. Why? Because Democrats have dropped the ball on us, specifically on us, okay? While using every bit, every piece of our history to tether on them other folks. So please, ma'am, don't assume just because we are holding the Democrats accountable for pandering to us but not following through, that means we're Republican. It doesn't mean that.
If my question is before now, I'm gonna ask you a question, then we're gonna move on because I do want to hear what other people we are pressed for time. Let me move on. If the black vote, as you're saying, is such a small percentage and they need to cater to other larger demographics of people, why are black people the only ones who get shamed? Why didn't Obama go to the LGBT community and wag his finger and try to bash them and shame them about not voting for Harris or their percentage not being that high for Harris? Why are only black people the only people who get criticized, insulted, demonized, called low IQ, unintelligent, all that stuff? Why are we the only people who get this lashing from the Democrat Party and from their advocates if we make up such a small percent, such a, insignificant percentage of the vote? If we don't make up this big factor, if we're not the determining factor, why is there so much anger towards us for not getting on board?
I would say there's anger because I feel like maybe because Obama's black, Kamala Harris is black, they believe that because
Oh
we're black,
God.
Oh
that they
my
have our
God.
vote
She trolling.
because we're
She
black.
trolling, Afro.
And we,
I'm not trolling,
Okay,
but
we're
like
gonna
I
move.
feel like they feel like, oh, black people
I
are
just
gonna.
wanted to.
You
I
know
just wanted
what?
to get
yeah,
the
no,
answer.
no, we need
Latinos
to.
voted at a higher rate than black men did, right? And there were black women who voted for Trump too, right? So let me be clear. Latinos especially voted at a higher rate than black people did for Trump, right? They didn't get called stupid or silly or crazy on the national show, The View, whatever Sonny Huston said, right? They didn't get their finger wagged at by the African biracial former president, right? He didn't wag his finger at the Latinos, Hispanic community, right? Yeah, people think that they own us for some reason, that we're children, that they could tell us what to do, how to do it, and get mad if we say, hey, we ain't doing it your way no longer serves us. So from here on out, everybody be put on notice. Black Americans are independent thinkers, right? Without us, this nation, if not the globe, wouldn't function properly. And we don't have to stay aligned to a Democrat Party, right? Who drops the ball on us every time. We're not voting a candidate in and then holding them accountable afterward, because that doesn't work for us either, right? They better come to the table mentioning tangibles and showing the same thing they did for the Asians, the LGBTQ, this, that, and the third, they're willing to do for us. Or they're going to be Jasmine Crockett every time. And let me tell my people something. Yvette Clarke up for re-election. AOC up for re-election. We have about 400 politicians up for re-election. Now's not the time to sit on the couch. You could do mail-in ballots, right? State and local counts, y'all. I'm not going to fight about the president with y'all today. But if you're in New York, right, overran by the immigrants, where it's starting to look like a third world country, because if they don't care about their homeland, they damn sure don't care about ours, okay? It's time to vote, and we could get Yvette Clarke, okay? Shake her up some. We got to do something. Get the mail-in ballots. I'm with you, people.
Yes, can I ask you a question?
No, you
Hold
can't ask
on,
me
we gotta
shit.
move
Why
on.
not?
We gotta
Can
move
I
on.
ask just one quick
Man,
question?
hold on. We've had a long time. We've talked to you. We gotta be fair to everybody else.
I know, but she keeps like muting me and
But
stuff.
we gotta be fair. We've had a conversation, and we gotta be fair. We ain't gonna drop you, but we gotta be fair. We gotta move on. All right. So we're gonna get to lips and froze.
Hey, you guys, excuse my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather. And before I get started, please, this woman, please don't interrupt me when I'm talking. What I wanted to say is that notice how I was watching your live yesterday, and it was a clip of Jasmine Crockett in the black church, literally talking down to black people, telling them how we need to get behind people that are not us in a black church with black politics, and we have our own agenda. I feel like kind of like what this is looking like here is the same thing, but on a live stream. This particular person is on this platform wagging her finger saying, well, this is the reason why you're not being supported, because you're no longer this, and you're not your voting block, you're not the demographic. It's like we're not trying to hear all that. You can take that over there and pander to somebody else with it, number one. Number two, I also wanted to mention living here in California, and last month they had their first governor's debate, right? And it was really interesting how that debate went. And I'm pretty sure you can find it online. I would love, Afro, if you would dig into it and watch that debate. The debate was like roughly about an hour,
Okay.
and there was only one Republican candidate, and he happened to be from the UK, so he was an immigrant. There was an Asian woman that was also an immigrant. There was a black man that was also an immigrant. And the other ones were like like a Latino immigrant. Pretty much the whole entire panel for governors, the governor race, were all immigrants.
Oh,
And
damn.
all had agendas specifically for their groups of people. And then when you watch the commercials for who they're trying to push forward for, the next phase, they're not talking about policy at all in these commercials. They just keep saying, if you want to stick it to Trump, vote for me. It's like we're not hearing anything about your policies. We're not hearing anything about what you're going to do for the people. You're not, and some people are just actually leading, speaking Spanish. And it's like, okay, you do know there are other nationalities of people here in California other than Spanish speaking people. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous out here. If you look at if you go on YouTube and you look at some of the commercials of who they're promoting for the midterms and the future governor races, all they're saying is if you want change and to stick it to Trump, vote for me. I'm your guy. And it's like, do they just think we're just ignorant and silly and stupid out here? Like, it's ridiculous how they're not even coming with policy anymore. They're using derangement syndrome to push their agenda to get them in office without telling you what they're going to do for you. I would be offended as not only a black person, but any other race of person. It's like it's the dumbing down and it's the playing in your face with these elections. And I agree with BX. We have an opportunity to make some really genuine changes. But just keep in mind that if you're from California, pay attention to these commercials that are coming out for who they're trying to push forward for the next governor, because there's a Republican governor also that is like an ex-sheriff. I mean, that he's a current sheriff here in one of these counties in California, and all he's trying to run on is law. And when they actually asked him questions on separate interviews, not on this platform for the debate, he couldn't even have anything good to say or anything that was policy driven that actually made sense. None of these people are fit to run for the governor, and they're all immigrants. And the one from the UK is the only one that actually had some kind of alignment to any kind of government leadership, because he was aligned with somebody that was over in the UK. But I don't feel comfortable with that either, because it's like at the end of the day, none of you guys seem like you're fit to run. And I would also want to say one more thing, and then I'll jump down to the gentleman up in the top corner. If you can put the information to your book in the chat, that would be extremely helpful, because we need this information like no other right now. What Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about, what we need to do, we need to push forward that information like never before right now, because with the options, we're gonna have to recalibrate and reset and get on code and move forward extremely quickly to make the changes that we need to see for ourselves, because all we got is ourselves. On that, I'll mute.
That's very true. And that's something that's the Democratic Party have done. The Democrats have relied on Donald Trump. People don't understand that. They have. The Democrats rely on Donald Trump. The Democratic Party, not even the Republican Party. You got more genuine people in the Republican Party who try their best not to rely on Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he got elected 2016. It's 2026 right now. Donald Trump has pretty much been the main character of American politics for the last decade. For the last decade, there has not been anybody in politics that is talked about more than Donald Trump. And a lot of that is based by the Democrats. The Democratic Party, everything about them is, well, you know what? Let's just be anti-Trump. Our party's whole brand, the party's mission for America, our vision for America, all of this is not liking Trump. Hillary Clinton ran on what policy besides not liking Trump? You don't know. You know what Trump ran on, but Hillary ran on not being Trump. Kamala ran on not being Trump. Biden ran on not being Trump. Every single thing is about Donald Trump. And now they're running again. Trump's not even running again, but they're running to stop Donald Trump. Everything is about Donald Trump. And they have manipulated and conditioned people to see Trump as this opposition to America. And all they got to do is dislike Donald Trump. They don't even have to pretend to do anything for you. That's how low the bar is right now. None of the governors are running against Donald Trump. Just keep that in mind. Donald Trump's not running
Yeah.
again. Nobody's running
And I want
against
to
Donald
add
Trump, but they
this.
want to talk about Donald Trump. That's all.
Excuse me, Afro. I'm sorry. I want to add this. I need everybody when we're looking at these governor races to catch the finesse. They're not giving you any policies. They're not talking to you about policies. They're not talking to you how they're going to bring the cost of living down, affordable living, how they're going to improve homelessness out here in California or whatever. All they're not giving you. They're giving you zero policy. It's like they're literally using the derangement syndrome to push choose me. And it's like I need people to catch the finesse outside.
Yeah,
Because they
that's
out here
true.
playing in your face. They playing in your face, so don't let them do it.
Yep.
Let me mute.
All right, we're going to get to Tony.
Oh, man. Thank you, brother. How y'all doing today?
We're good.
I'm glad that I just jumped on there and caught you before, and I'm glad to see y'all open conversation about what's going on here in America today. The sister too, I love to hear her comments and go hard on her. I really appreciate you guys for being on TikTok, believe me. But my thing is, what I'm telling you, most of in the 60s and 50s, our black people were Democrats. They were mostly conservative. They were mostly Republicans. Because people don't remember the history of the Democrats. They were the Dixiecrats, as Malcolm said. Most of them was, from the South, and they were racist landowners, And in 1964, the Civil Rights Bill, they was trying to filibuster it. The Republicans, LBJ, I think it was, he was trying to push it through, and they was trying to stop that. So I'm trying to figure out, but when most of our people started becoming Democrats, you know what I mean? It was a time when we did need a leg up, and they was passing these bills to help families out. But all the bills they passed broke the black family up. If a family's supposed to get welfare, the black man couldn't be in the house. Now all these people were getting assistance, and like you see what's going on down there in Lakewood, New Jersey, over there in Minnesota, it's a whole family in the house and getting government assistance. But when we really needed it at the time, that they was trying to give us assistance, the black woman couldn't have the black man in the household. It's supposed to be for family assistance. Most of our black leaders now that are Democrats, they're just for show. Even our black caucus, all of them are just for show. And then, like you said, most of them, as I look at it, they are tethers. Their plight are not our plight. And at a job that I'm in now, I see we have a brother that's he's a manager, he's the head boss, he does the hiring. But when I look around, it's people of Latin descent. Some of them can't even speak English. And I'm trying to figure out how you got a job and you can't even communicate. And mind you, this place is for businesses. And then I watch the demographic of people that come in to conduct business in the matter, and it's mostly Latin, some white, but it's a sprinkle of people of color, that come through. And I see how, they don't
Now,
speak
when you
about,
say people of color, what do you
I
mean
mean,
exactly?
black people, FBAs. I'm
Okay.
just getting on that term, brother, please.
Okay.
Forgive me, foundational black. I've been on it for a while, but you guys gave meaning to it. So when I was speaking at it, my partners was calling me, I hate everybody, but I don't hate I'm not hate, but I'm
Okay,
thinking,
you got it. You got it. You know
I
what
mean,
you
so I can't say that word, but it's like I'm thinking on what's beneficial for you. When Trump was running for office, and I was saying, yo, man, I'm voting for Trump, man. What he was speaking was more beneficial to us as a people. Like now, all the immigrants that are coming into the country, they're taking most of the jobs. You go to McDonald's, you see and these jobs were for high school kids, college students, and retirees. But when you go there, you see a bunch of immigrants. And once they come in, they bring in, there are other people, but they'll get you fired. But the thing is we have to start sticking together. And the plan, I want to get that brother's book that's in the right hand corner, because I have Dr. Claude Anderson book, but I sort of almost gave up on our people until the
Well,
pandemic.
it's easier for you to go to his page if you just
Okay.
follow him and you go to his page.
Okay.
You got a link in his bio, so that's
All right.
probably the easiest way
Yeah.
you can
I'm,
do
I'm,
it.
I'm,
Because you can't click a link here. You would have to screenshot it and then,
all right.
all that stuff. So it's easier
Yeah.
just following
No,
him.
I went up and followed him. I'm gonna go check it out. Because we really need this. But the next step is coming up. You have the plan, choosing the plan, but we have to some point in time come together and start implementing it. And that's something that
We this is a part of implementing, you
right.
know what I'm saying? But we are getting engaged politically. I appreciate that. But because we can't be on too long now.
Okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, look.
I'm gonna let you land. Go
Okay,
ahead.
that's the phrase, right? Land. Okay, I'm about to land then. Hey, peace and blessing to y'all, and keep the conversation rolling, because the only way that we become enlightened if we keep talking about the issues. I
Yes,
appreciate you.
indeed. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate you sincerely. Thank you. Let's get you Fly. You got it.
Afro, go to the next person. I'm just going in my apartment.
All right. Okay, we'll get you Chrono.
Chrono, damn, I wasn't ready, but okay. What's up, Afro?
Nah.
Why are black voters leaving Democrats? Well, let me just say this. I have been a Democrat since I could vote, since I was 19. I'm 30 now. And my family was Democrats all my life. And so I voted Democrat, things like that. But I have officially come to a point in my life. I'm looking around at the economy, the state of the country, the state of Black America. I have officially re-registered as an independent. Something that to me doesn't sound like a lot to y'all, but to me that's a huge thing, because I really do feel like the Democratic Party has abandoned Black Americans. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but just to be 100% honest, it feels like they have. And I want my vote to be earned. I feel like Democrats are not trying to earn the Black American vote anymore. They're expecting us to vote for them. They're expecting us to always follow the same pattern, and they're not putting forth any solid agenda specifically for Black people. But when I look around, everybody else is benefiting from a solid agenda. The Hispanic community, the immigrant community, the LGBT community. I have no hate against anybody, but everybody are getting these specific trickle down policies specifically for their community, protections specifically, and Black Americans who've contributed the most are not getting anything. And so I think for Black Americans, if we really want to hold these people accountable, if we want them to earn our vote, we should re-register as independents, because if you're still registered as a Democrat and you're not voting and you're voting Republican, it still looks like they have the numbers. And I think that if we re-register our classification, it will show them that we're actually leaving the party, and it will put some fire underneath them so that they would start putting forth something. I'm also going to start going to city hall meetings, to council meetings to see what's going on. I don't do that. I'm off every weekend. I say, you know what? Let me start looking up what council meetings are happening on Saturday, and let me just go. I have time, and to see what they're talking about, to get up there on the microphone, ask these politicians, Democrats or Republicans, hey, do you have an agenda for Black people? If no, why not? If so, if yes, what does it look like? How does that look? What is that going to, I'm going to start doing that and putting myself into these spaces. But I just feel like the Democrats have gotten way too comfortable with Black Americans voting in a routine. So I personally am a independent now, and the next election, I'm looking at both the Republican candidate and the Democratic candidate, and I'm trying to see who is offering the plan for Black America. You know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like we have to hold them accountable, and the best way to do that is for us to re-register. But that's where I stand at.
If they're in control now, what are they doing now?
Yeah, nothing. That's why I said, like, where I live in a predominantly Black community in North Carolina. I don't want to say too much because people be doxing, but where I live at over the last 15 years, MS-13 has run amok. it's kind of, gone down a lot now because of the whole immigration thing. They're kind of hiding. But MS-13 really messed up a lot of black communities here in North Carolina, where black people have been homeowners for 50, 60 years, and they got spray paint all over their fences and gang members on the corner. So, I live in a Democratic city, Roy Cooper. And so I'm just like, I'm looking around at my environment and I'm asking myself, wow, like what are they doing to improve this? And it's only getting worse. So that's why I'm personally re-registering. You know what I'm saying?
So why not look for Democratic candidates that actually support your party rather than vote Republican when they're not doing anything for us?
But hold on,
And they
here's the
actively
thing. If he
support
just hold
Nah,
on, do
ma'am, he
y'all
didn't
see
even
that?
say
Hold
the
that.
on, hold
government.
on. Do y'all see that? He just said he's been in there and he's been voting Democrat and he feels completely let down. He's been voting Democrat since he was 19 years old and he feels completely let down. And he's not even saying he switched to Republican. He's saying that he's an independent and that he is open to looking on across the aisle to see who would do something for black people. And yet here you go, because your loyalty is to Democrats, here you go saying, oh no, you got to stay with the Democrats and just find the best of the Democrats. Why? If his loyalty is to his community, why can he not go across the aisle and look at their options? Why does he have to stay on with the Democrats and find the quote unquote best of them? Why does
Because
he
the
have to do
Notice,
that?
Republicans
notice,
continue to
but notice
harm our
how she
community.
said
They're
she
taking
mentioned that
away
he.
all the public assistance programs that majority of our people. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm
What
not
are
going
the
to say
No,
that.
Democrats
listen,
doing
she
That
also
a lot
meant
of
that he
people
was.
are
She
on.
mentioned
So the
Republicans. She's
Republicans
like,
are
why are
taking
you why
away
are
a
you
lot of
siding
the
with
public
Republicans?
benefits that
Did
people
you guys
need
catch her
because
say
Okay,
that?
capitalism is
ma'am,
destroying our society.
ma'am. But the thing is that he didn't say this election, I'm voting for Republican. He didn't say that. He said he is going to go, he's going to do research, he's going to go to the city councils and all of that and figure out who is the best option for black people. And that bothered you because he is open to Republicans. That's the only thing. Now, all of the stuff he said about how the Democrats have abandoned black voters, how he's been voting for Democrats for over a decade, all of the stuff he said about how the Democrats have completely ignored the black vote and don't do anything, that didn't bother you. But the fact that he's willing to have a conversation with the Republican Party, that's what got you off your mic.
No,
That's
I
what
agree
stops you.
with
That's
him,
what
but I
bothers
don't agree with the strategy, and that's it.
you.
I'm
Let's
ready.
move.
I'm
before?
ready.
But can I say one thing?
Hold
I'm
on.
ready.
Let him go because she responded to him.
One
Let him go.
second. Before I re-registered very recently, which is, like I said, a huge thing for me, guys, because I've been a Democrat all my life. Y'all don't understand how powerful that was for me. But before I did that, I didn't even look at what the Republicans were saying when I voted. I didn't even look at Republican candidates before voting. I mean, when the Republican commercials would come on the TV for their candidate, I would automatically frown. Especially with Trump being president, I automatically looked at them in a negative way. So when I would vote, I would just vote blue. Whoever was a Democrat, I'm checking the ballot down the line. Democrat, 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 Democrat. That's how I voted. I supported the Democrats blindly. And I've realized that once a teenager, now I'm a full-grown adult, it has gotten my community nowhere. And so all I'm saying now is that I'm independent, and instead of me just being biased to the Republicans and not listening to them, I'm going to take what both sides are saying fully and analyze both policies from both parties 100% fully and make a concise decision from that.
All right. And that shouldn't bother nobody. Let's get to Fly. Let's get to Fly.
Hey, family.
How you doing?
First of all, did they know voting was private? It's not your business who we vote for, first of all. Second of all, he did not say he's voting Republican. I'm finna say it. I'm voting Republican. Second of all you immigrants in these comments talking this BS can save it because we don't care. You are not important anymore. We have not been important. Voting to make sure you all were happy, and all you have given back was hate and racism, okay? Second of all, what you up here talking about really doesn't matter to probably 95% of us. You are not important. You are not part of our assignment, and we can vote for who we want. We will never, ever vote against our interests ever again. Second of all, you all are in our business again. This is what we're talking about. You all cannot vote unless you're cheating and they like the Democrats was doing. But thank God the Republicans are on top of it now. You all cannot stay away from things that should not matter to you all of who we vote for. We no longer are worrying about what's going on with you all. So at this point in our game, we are looking out for self, and that's who we're gonna vote for. It's not your business why you keep putting your 2 cents in the business of what somebody has to say. I'm telling you from my own mouth, I am voting Republican. I don't care what you say. I don't care what nobody in no other country say. I am. And aren't Africans finna have a vote? Ain't y'all finna start voting? When are you all going home to start voting? And everybody else, leave us alone. That's your business. You so far in our business till you don't
Are you
realize
calling
that
me an African?
it's none of
I'm not
your
even an
business.
immigrant. So what are you
she's not.
talking about?
I don't know who she's not talking about. You.
You are
Said
so
to
far.
the immigrants in the comments, Batty, stay on your mute button, please. Thank
You
you.
are. She's so far in our business that all the racism they have done over the years, no one had anything to say or care. But now you all are trying to tell Black Americans to vote against our best interests again? No, no. And you all help that negative energy. So at the end of the day, while all you clowns in this comments and up here talking this BS, save it for somebody who cares, because I don't care. And I am so glad that immigrant Jasmine Crockett did not win. She has been against Black Americans since she got in there. Second of all, I'll be glad when they get that mayor in Chicago too, because he's a Haitian immigrant. He's never been for Black
Allegedly, let's
Americans
be,
neither.
because we don't want to get in trouble for spreading misinformation.
Okay,
So we'll
you
say
right,
allegedly on both
but
of
yeah.
them.
Anyway, you right, Afro. But anyway, at the end of the day, I don't care one cent about what nobody else has to say when it comes to us. We gonna vote for who we choose to vote for. You all do not have a say so in what we do. You don't. So please get that out your head that you do. You do not have a say so. We do not care. Thank you.
All right. All right. Reggie. Boy, there's a lot of people want to come up. Reggie, but we ain't gonna be up here. We've been up
Drop
here
down if you want
for a minute.
to bring somebody else up. I can drop down if you want
All
to.
right. Okay. Cool. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day.
You too. All right. Reggie, you got it. We ain't talk to you in a minute, Reggie. Now, come on, Reggie. What's going on?
Ray, can you hear me, Afro?
Yeah, we got you.
Afro, my name is Reginald Strawn. We met in D.C. at the reparations with Tariq. Do you remember when we had to move the stage? I was standing right next to you, and we were trying to lift the stage, and all the foundation broke under us. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I do. Boy, that was
Yeah,
something
and
else.
we had black men with all kind of crafts and skill move that stage together. It was a unity thing. The only reason I'm up for you young black beautiful people, I'm running for mayor of Tampa in 2027, and I'm running as an independent. If you look back at the 1930s, 50s, 60s, we make things pop.
Let me mute
I
up.
think
Gotta
it's
mute up.
time. Huh?
I was talking to somebody else.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cadillac is going out of business. They finally let us start buying them. They're still here today. In the 1970s, Hollywood was dead. Black films brought them back. We're phenomenal people. The independent party, if we all come together on one code, we can make that thing pop. Because I'm running as an independent, and I'm not running in this race to be second. I'm getting the grassroots down here in Florida. I'm moving and I'm shaking hands, and My agenda is pro-black. Play with that.
All right, and especially in Florida, that's very, very needed. All right, so I want you to stay in touch with us then.
Absolutely.
I want you to stay in touch with us. When did you announce your campaign? When did you announce your running?
Well, I haven't really came out because I'm trying to get the the
Okay, because you're
framework.
finishing 2027, right?
Right. I'm just trying to
Okay,
get
so
I'm trying to get donors.
good.
I'm trying to make things, when I do come out, it has to be representative of FBA. I promise you
Okay.
that.
All right. Well, keep in touch with us. I know you haven't run yet, so you ain't set up your whole donation things and all that stuff. But keep in touch with us so we can let people know how we can support you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you. Love you. FBA all the way.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you. Thank you. See, that's what we need. When people talk about what are we doing, this is what we're doing. All right. Let's get to PK Strong.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
A little low. You're a little low, but yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, let me switch it up for a second. Let me remove my headset. How about now? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I see the caption, but I want to address this 1994 crime bill. I want to just dispel the fallacy that Biden is the initiator of the crime bill.
Okay.
And it's easy, man. I mean, Google can teach us a lot, man, or inform us of a lot of things. And let me start by saying this: the crime bill is a spending bill. Spending bills can only be introduced or initiated by the House of Representatives because they control the purse. Okay, I asked Google, can the Senate introduce a spending bill? No. Under the U.S. Constitution, the Senate cannot initiate a tax or revenue raising bills, which must begin in the House of Representatives. Then I asked, is the 1994 crime bill a spending bill? Yes, the 94 crime bill is a spending bill. So by those two characterizations, we already know that the bill was not initiated in the Senate, it was initiated in the House. So Biden is not the sponsor of the bill. Now, the reason his name is shown as a sponsor on the Senate bill, not the House bill, but the Senate bill, is because once the House passes the bill, it goes through the hopper, the Senate's hopper, it's assigned a bill number, and then it goes into a committee. And whoever heads the chair of that committee is going to be, by default, placed as the sponsor of the bill. So Biden didn't sponsor the bill. It's just the fact that he was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee in the Senate. Thereby, his name was shown as the sponsor of the bill. So you just have to know a little bit about how bills are constructed.
So you're trying to now. Okay, all right. Let's take you for that. Let's take that, right? So does this, exonerate Joe Biden for the 94 crime bill? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm not trying to exonerate him from it. I'm trying to give him props for it because that's a perfect segue as far as the question, because what I was going to mention then is just give you a few of his initiatives, because, once the Senate gets the House bill, they do their amendments and their markups and things of that nature of the original bill. So here's some of Biden's initiatives on that 94 bill. Violence Against Women Act. Okay. Do any of us agree or disagree with that? The Violence Against a Women Act? That's one of his initiatives. This was a signature achievement, creating the first comprehensive federal legislative package specifically aimed at entering gender-based violence. Here's another initiative: 100,000 new police officers, the COPS program.
Okay.
Is anyone opposed to that? Here's another initiative: assault on some weapons ban. This bill includes a 10-year federal ban on the manufacture, transfer, or possession of specific semi-automatic assault weapons. Anybody opposed
read
to
the
that?
rest. Yep, keep going. Read the rest. Read it. Read the rest. Come on.
Proof and sentencing incentives. This is
Yeah. Oh,
where
yeah, that part. Yeah, you took a minute to get to that part, but okay.
I'm going down the list. But
Go ahead.
in
Let's go.
essence, it says it requires violent offenders to serve at least 85% of their sentences. So
Okay.
if you have a violent offender, wouldn't you want them to serve the mass majority of their sentence? You don't want to get them a slap on the wrist. So
But okay.
here's
Hold
another
on.
one. It's two more, and then I'll
Go ahead.
let you
Yeah, go ahead.
rebut. Prevention programs. Despite the tough focus, Biden included funding for ounce of prevention programs, which aim to provide education, mentoring, and job training for at-risk youth. And then the last one, expansion of the federal death penalty. This bill added over 50 new federal crimes for which the death penalty could be applied, including drug trafficking and terrorism-related offenses. So I can't. That last one may be questionable, but all the other initiatives to me are thumbs up. I
Okay.
can't
So
see where a
you
person approves.
agree with Joe Biden, who was the primary author of that? Yeah, because he was. It's written. That's that you can Google that. I'm not sure what Google you're using. Joe Biden was the primary author, and Joe Biden historically bragged about how he was always in support of every crime bill since then. But since Joe Biden, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna mute you
No,
because there's
I
a
had a
thing.
phone.
I'm gonna let you unmute, but let me just ask this. All right, he authored the bill. He was the reason the bill got passed. On top of in that bill created the disparity between one type of cocoa and another type of cocoa. The cocoa that white people used, you get, for instance, if you have a gram, you get a year. If you have a gram of the other type of cocoa, you get 5 years. Okay. And on top of that, it also gave, because they do have that power, it also gave monetary incentives to states to harshen their prisons, to harshen their state prisons. Joe Biden said, now you're talking about rehabilitation. Joe Biden said that he doesn't care. This is all on the internet. Joe Biden said, made it abundantly clear that he doesn't care for rehabilitation and that it's not the prison's or state's responsibility to rehabilitate anybody. That's what Joe Biden said. And he bragged about it. Okay. Joe Biden said that it doesn't matter whose fault it is, that they need to be locked up and kept out of society. And he wasn't just talking about violent offenders. He was talking about the epidemic that was going on during that time.
Well,
But
when I
okay.
measure the works of a politician, I look at what's on legislation. I
But
can hear him speak.
what were the results? Let me ask you that. Let's say he intended it to be all great and all fine.
Okay,
What were the results of that? And
I'm
don't
glad
try
you.
to remove him because he bragged about it. The bill
I'm
was
glad you.
nicknamed Biden's Law, and he said that himself. So don't try to create some separation between him and the bill. Don't do that. But what do you think the result
Okay.
of that bill was?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. First of all, the bill is HR 3355, which means the bill originated in the House. That's automatic because the House of Representatives, HR stands for House of Representatives. But
But that
this
doesn't
is
mean he
this
didn't
is
author
where
it. He can still, just because he was in the Senate doesn't mean he can't write stuff and then have people in the House start it. Okay, he was the
he
primary author of it. You can look that up. But continue.
okay. This is the results of the bill. This is where it went south. When the state legislators got that bill and imposed that bill upon their particular states, they adjusted because the federal bill, the 94 crime bill, gave the states the authority to maneuver and kind of fix that bill to their liking. So a lot of states legislators abused the language in the bill and made the sentences harsher for the whites. I mean the cook stuff versus the
Okay.
white stuff.
Do you
That
okay?
wasn't
Do you
that wasn't an initiative done by Biden. That was done
no
by the
no
states.
no okay, let me ask you a question. It's a yes or no. In the 94 crime bill in Biden's law, was there a monetary incentive given to the states by Congress to harshen prison sentences? Because that's the
I
reason it
I
was
don't
done.
know that,
That's
but
the
if
reason. Hold on, sir, because I did a whole review about this some years ago. The
okay,
reason why states got harsher and started locking people up over very petty offenses and keeping people in jail longer, and the police went out arresting people left and right and all that, is because the states were given money from the federal government, because in the bill it was a monetary incentive for states to harshen their prison sentences.
okay, even if
Is
I
that
agree,
true? Is that true? Can we agree on that?
I can't validate that, but I trust
You
you
just read the come
because
on now. You
I
just read the
trust you.
whole bill
No,
now.
no,
Don't do that.
I didn't
Come
go into the
on.
weeds. What you're speaking of, I didn't go into the weeds. But I
No,
will
no,
say
because
this:
you're
I
now what you're
trust.
trying to do, sir. What you're trying to do is you're trying to blame the states for it, and
I'm not trying to.
I'm not trying to exonerate the states. I'm not trying to sit up there and take any type of responsibility or accountability away from them. I'm saying though that the states did that because the federal government under, well, not under Biden, but because of Biden gave them money. It incentivized them to do that. That's the reason why the states did that.
I'm.
Because
I,
Biden knew Biden can't control the
the
states
states
and
and
make
make
this.
this.
Okay, you
Okay,
got to
you
mute
got to
yourself.
meet
Biden
Afro.
knew. Hold on. I'm saying, because you just said you didn't know. Biden knew that in the federal government, you can't control state laws. So you do have the power of the purse in Congress. So what you can do is you can give monetary incentives for states to do certain things. And he gave a monetary incentive for states to harshen their prison sentences. Okay, and you saw more people get locked up as a result. You saw more people get locked up over false charges. Most of those people were black, and you saw more of those people stay in prison longer as a result of that.
Okay, can I respond now?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let's understand the passage of bills. The crime bill passed in the Senate, I think, with a 95 to 3 or 4 margin. I think one no vote. In the House, it passed unanimously, or maybe it had 3 votes. We're talking about 425 members voting yes. So this wasn't a Biden bill.
But
This,
you
I mean,
know,
I'm
it
sorry, I'm
was a
saying Biden.
Biden
Yeah,
bill.
this wasn't a
Biden is the
Biden
primary,
bill.
and I keep saying that, and you don't want to acknowledge it. He was the primary author of the bill. You can look it up. Anybody right here can look it up. Because you can look it up, and he said it several times. Biden
So
has boasted about it and bragged about it
if
several
you,
times.
but Afro, let me ask you this: if you were a Congress member, be it a senator or a House of Representative, during the time the crime bill was being floored for voting, would you have voted yay or nay?
I would have voted no.
But see, so then this is my this is my validation that this was a collective effort by all of the representatives
Okay,
and
and
all
yeah,
of the
and
senators.
yes, we can. Yes, we can.
It doesn't matter
We
who.
can
It
say
doesn't
that.
matter
We can
who
say that. But no,
championed,
no, it
who
does matter
sponsored the
who.
bill.
It
It
does
was a
matter
collective
who.
effort.
No, stop, because you're trying to exonerate Biden. Why are you trying to do that? Because first off, you first off started off by saying, well, technically it wasn't really Biden, it was the House. You completely removed Biden and stripped him from the bill, and then said, actually, the bill had a lot of really, really good stuff in it. Biden's aspect of the bill was actually really good. And you didn't want to concede to the fact that that bill incentivized states to harshen their prison sentences,
No, no,
which
no,
was
no.
a major factor in the mass incarceration era that we had to face. You didn't want to concede to that.
I
You
never.
didn't refute it. You didn't refute that because you know it's true, but you didn't want to concede to that. And when
I
I said
never.
Biden is the primary author of the bill, and Biden was the one who pushed for the bill to go through both chambers of Congress, both
Biden
houses.
has no
Biden
jurisdiction
was
of
the
the House of
main one who pushed
Representatives.
it. Biden bragged about it. Biden bragged about the success being on him. And you're trying to sit
Biden,
up there and distribute the blame evenly. Even if we want to blame all of Congress in 94 for voting on it, Biden was the ringleader of that bill.
that bill was backed by the Black Caucus
Was
and a
Biden,
lot
yes
of
or
other
no? And we'll get to
groups.
them. Was Biden, yes or no, the ringleader of the bill? Yes or no?
I don't understand that language because again, the bill originated
Oh
by
my God,
Representative
yes you
Brooks in the
do.
House of
Y'all see
Representatives.
this? And this is the
See
thing
what?
is
That's
that
what I'm
anytime you hold
saying.
the Democrats accountable, we
The
have stuff like this.
House, the bill was originated in the House of Representatives by Representative Brooks of Texas.
I think you're misunderstanding that just because it had bipartisan support doesn't mean that it was right. And I do think that bill did harm our community the most, and it's okay to admit that.
Okay, the bill.
No,
I don't think
Black
the bill. I
Americans
don't think the
community.
bill harmed it. I think
I
the
am Black
legislators.
American.
I think the legislators harmed the bill because they used the bill and abused the bill for their own
They did, but if they knew
gain,
that
monetary
Okay,
terms
gain. Like
could be
what man
hold
said,
on.
manipulated to
that was
harm
a
Did
us,
Joe
monetary
they should have
Biden,
gain.
never passed
hold
it.
on, here's the thing. This is why people are leaving the Democrats, because when we hold them accountable here, you're coming up here trying to save face and be a damn defense attorney. You're trying to act like Joe Biden's defense attorney. First off, you said he pretty much had nothing to do with the bill. Now you're sitting up there
I,
sharing the blame. Even
that's
if
not
you want
true.
to stop, yes, it is true. It is.
That's not
Even
true.
if you want to share the blame, even if you want to do that, okay, he was in charge, okay, and he bragged about it. He bragged about how he carried the bill, and the bill was nicknamed Biden's Law for a reason. And every time I say that, you deflect on another subject because you know it's true and you don't want to admit that. Just like you knew it was true that the bill incentivized harsher prison sentences or harsher prison policies to the states by the federal government because of Biden. Biden was talking about how we needed to lock more people up and they needed to stay in jail. That's what Biden was talking about in Congress. It's all over the internet. And he still brags about that today. When he debated, here's how you know, when he debated Harris in 2019, Harris bought that up. And he said, hey, I still stand by it. When the interviewer asked if he would take anything back, he said no, and he still stands by the 94 crime bill because Harris brought it up. And then the interviewer in 2019, y'all can go look that debate up. The interviewer asked him if he would do anything different, and he said no. He said no.
I stand by the bill because I understand the bill.
Okay.
Again, the state legislators corrupted the bill when they had the authority to kind
Why?
of like massage it
Why though?
to fit their narrative. So
Why?
they imposed
Why?
those
Can you
harsh
admit,
penalties.
stop. Can you admit, yes or no, that there was a monetary incentive? Because you can't say, well, yeah, they abused it. For what? Why didn't they do that before? It meant that there was a financial incentive in the
Yeah,
bill for the states to be harsher on prisons with their prison policies.
that's fine by me.
No, it's not
That's
fine. No, it's
fine,
not. No, it's
but
not
it
fine. It's
does.
very not fine. It's very not fine. No, it's not fine at all. Because you keep trying to shift blame.
That's
And
not
that's what the
shifting
bill did
blame,
because you
bro.
don't want,
Just
no.
because there's
You
an
don't want to
incentive,
admit that that bill was
just because
bogus
there's
and
a
wrong.
monetary
Stop.
incentive does
Stop.
not
No,
mean you have to
no,
do.
no. You don't want to admit that that bill was bogus and wrong. You don't want to admit that. And now every time I say that, you all like, okay, well, that's fine. And you're trying to move the conversation because you refuse to concede anything on that bill being wrong. And that bill that being the major catalyst that led to the mass incarceration era. And Biden knows that. And he still stands by it, even seeing the results of the bill. Even if you want to say Biden didn't know and he tried to do the best he could and he didn't have the foresight to see what the bill would do. Biden said in multiple interviews when he was running against Trump that he still stands by the bill. He still does, even seeing the results of it. Now, you've had multiple people,
Everybody
as you tried
who
to say, hold
voted,
on, as you tried to say, multiple people in the Congressional Black Caucus voted for the bill. You've had several of them apologize for that and say that they were wrong. You know who didn't apologize for it is Biden. Biden still has yet to apologize and still stands by that bill.
bro, that's no different than me apologizing to the American families who lost life for the soldiers from this propagated war that Trump started with Iran. I
Man,
can
don't
apologize to them.
no, we're
I can
not doing that.
Why
No,
you keep cutting me,
don't
bro?
deflect to Trump. Don't
No,
deflect to Trump. Because we're not even
no.
talking about that, and you might get the live shut down even talking about that right now, to be honest.
Well, it was an analogy I was making because you said the Black Caucus members apologize. They're not apologizing of the bill itself. They're apologizing to the acts that the legislators in the states took
But
to
okay.
corrupt the bill that was
No,
imposed.
because here's the thing. If they realized the bill was being abused, they could have struck that down. They could have removed that and repealed that. They could have said, you know what? I see that this bill is not having the result we intended it to have. So we need to make either an amendment to it. We need to put something in there. We need to pull something out. We need to change the bill altogether. They never did that. So I'm not trying to hear, oh, we just didn't know the states were going to abuse it. You refuse to admit that they paid the states to be harsher.
I'm
The
not.
states didn't
Why you
just
keep
do
saying
that
I'm
on their
refusing to
own. They
admit
paid
that?
them to
I'm
do it.
agreeing with you. I'm not refusing to
So
admit
why
that.
are you trying to say that they didn't know the states were going to abuse it? If you're paying somebody to be harsh, how are you going to then say, I didn't know you were going to be that harsh?
If I incentivize you to produce more cars, that don't mean I think you're gonna shoot the prices up, skyrocket the prices of the cars because I give you money to incent for more bigger production. I can't predict what they're gonna do. I should hope that they follow the law. But
Stop unmuting yourself, dude. Stop. You got a bad echo.
somebody popped in, I guess. I don't know. It's not me.
No, it's
I'm
not you. It's
sorry. Do
somebody
we
else.
know where PK is from? PK, what is your ethnic group?
But how can you have the
PK,
foresight?
PK, what is your ethnic group?
What? This is weird
Answer
to
the
me,
question.
man.
She's a mod. You got to answer the question.
I'm gonna answer the question, but this is weird to me because all of a sudden I'm being asked about.
I'm a foundational Black
Look,
American. What is
first
your
off, that
ethnic
is the
group?
rule. That's the rule. Okay.
Oh,
The reason why
okay.
we haven't been asking because we know everybody pretty much else up here. So we're asking you. Now I've had a whole full conversation with you.
I'm sorry because I've been accused of being a Haitian. I'm from
Okay.
America, born and raised. On third generation, fourth generation, maybe fifth generation. Whenever slavery
That's still an
was,
immigrant. The
however
Caribbean
many
has been
Okay,
in
hold
places
on.
like New York
Okay, hold
since
on. Let
over
me be
100
let's
years. So
let's
they're
do
very
this.
well up to their third
Okay.
generation. Afro.
Hold on.
Okay, so I just want the audience to know because they're saying drop him. Afro is in the zone. Afro is a debater, and that's why I'm on my mute and didn't come off. Y'all got to realize when Afro Lee is breaking down the point.
Yeah.
Okay, family, I'll mute up now.
Both sides of your family are from American chattel slavery, or is one side immigrated?
Absolutely.
Both sides. Okay,
This is
fine.
weird.
So let's get back to the
I've been on
politics. Let's get back to
3 years,
that.
and
Since you
something
say that,
last 2
we'll
months.
just take because we can't prove that or not, whatever. But let's just say that, all right,
Oh.
for the sake of the argument. You're still standing by the '94 crime bill. You're still
Will
standing.
forever stand by it on his face. Don't you?
What
Afro,
about the
Afro,
result? Okay, what about the result? Let's say the result. Let's look at the result.
No, the result was effed up.
What do you think they should have done when they saw the result being effed up?
I think it should have been a concerted effort to ratify that bill or to make some amendments to that bill, just like you mentioned. I agree with you.
And why didn't they do that? If they have pure intentions on that bill being such a benefit to the country and to the community, and they saw how that bill was being abused and was used to disproportionately harm Black Americans. Why
Okay,
was there
so
no ratifications? Why didn't they
okay,
pull anything out or add any type of restrictions or anything like that in there? Why didn't they do that?
okay. If my memory serves me correct, again, that's a spending bill, so it originates in the House. So therefore, the House was run by Republicans during that era for a many of years. So that I'm not sure why a Republican wouldn't
No, no, no,
sponsor
no,
a
no, no,
bill
no.
for an
Okay,
amendment.
just because the House introduces bills, okay, you make it seem like the House are the ones who create it. No, the House introduces the bills. That don't mean that bills cannot be authored by senators. That doesn't mean that. And that doesn't mean that senators have no say so in the bills when they're being drafted. That does not mean that. Okay? Let's not be spreading misinformation. Let's not be disingenuous. Okay? They are introduced there, but that don't mean that. All right? However, if you want to say, well, it's because of the Republicans being in office, right? Joe Biden was able to talk to the Republicans about slew a slew of different crime bills. He agreed with a lot of bipartisan crime bills. But you're saying it's the Republicans' fault when it was the Democrats who did that
Uh,
in the House. And then when they got in the House next time, they didn't push to ratify anything. They didn't push to appeal anything. They didn't push to amend anything. They didn't push to change anything in the bill at all. Add anything, subtract anything. They never tried to change it, even though they saw the results, the very detrimental results of the bill. They never made an effort to change anything in that bill at all.
and I agree with everything you said.
Okay.
And to add to it, I'm just gonna say this. That's not a Biden issue. That's a US government or US Congress issue. That's who should be addressed holistically, the Congress, not just Biden. Biden don't run the Senate. He was just the chairperson of the Judiciary Committee. He wasn't even the majority leader of
So
the
it
Senate.
wasn't just Biden. Okay. But let's talk about the fact that it should have been changed. Did Biden push to change it? Why are you trying? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to defend Biden by saying he did no wrong and he didn't know when Biden did find out. What did he do when he did find out? If he didn't know in the beginning, what did Biden do when Biden did find out?
I'm not trying to vindicate Biden by
You
saying
are. You are.
anything. What I'm trying to say is this: it's a collaborative effort of 100 senators and 435 House of
We know
Representatives.
how bills are
So
passed, and I
anyone,
want y'all to understand we're doing this the long way so you can hear exactly what's going on. You're going around the bush, you're beating around the bush. Okay?
no,
You're not holding Biden accountable for anything. This is why people are leaving the party. Is because we can have okay. We can have detrimental policies majorly affect the community. Okay, it's abundantly clear that the 94 crime bill disproportionately, it really much specifically and exclusively harmed Black folk. Okay, there's a general consensus on that. That's not even a debatable thing. And
correct.
yet you're coming up here trying to exonerate Joe Biden and clear his name. And you've been trying to do that the whole time. Look how hard you're doing that and not being honest.
You are grossly misinterpreting
So
my
that means
stance.
you have a stronger loyalty to the Democratic Party and really to Joe Biden than you do to the community.
Again, you are grossly misrepresenting my stance in terms of my views about when I came up here. What I said was everybody think Biden sponsored the bill, and he didn't. And I proved to you that that bill was initiated in the House of Representatives because it's a spending bill.
Stop
That
saying
was not.
that. Stop saying that. It didn't have it does you're saying initiated as if Biden had just found out about the bill after it went through the House. He didn't. He wrote the bill. He was the main one writing the bill, and you have yet to concede on that
Oh
because you
my!
know it's the truth. Okay. And once we say Biden wrote the bill, you cannot exonerate him. You're trying to give it to the House. Don't do that. It was introduced in the House, but he wrote it. And he bragged about writing it. You're going to laugh because you know it's true. He
I'm
bragged
laughing
about it.
because
Anything you say, you can Google it, you can look it up, you can find whatever thing you want to. Biden out of his own mouth said it. So
I'm
therefore, that's all the
laughing.
proof we need. He said he did it.
I'm laughing because it gives the appearance that Biden took this bill and walked to the House of Representatives and say, hey, y'all better pass this
Biden
bill.
said he
And
did
then
it. And
walked to the
nothing else
Senate
you
and say,
say
y'all better
matters
pass
after
this
we
bill.
say
And then told the
Biden said
president,
himself he did it. And he bragged about doing it. He bragged. That was his highest achievement in Congress his entire career, outside of being the VP and then the president.
I
Until
bet
that point, that
you,
was his highest achievement, and he bragged about it for decades.
Afro, I bet right now you nor anybody on this panel or in the seats, in the cheap seats, can name 4 senators or representatives during that era.
Look at you deflecting. You're deflecting. You're
Biden
deflecting.
was a
You're
popular
deflecting.
Biden
You're
was a popular
deflecting.
senator, so his voice was always in the media
No,
because he was
no, 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 no,
one
no,
of the
no.
most popular
I
senator
said no,
there.
no, no. You're
Oh my
saying
God.
no. He wrote it and he said he did. He said that out of his own mouth on camera that he wrote it. Nothing else you have to say matters after that. Nothing else. And that's a very Googleable thing. You keep saying it was introduced in the House. Nobody's refuting that. We're talking about who wrote it, who was the author of the bill. He did. And he was a part of writing other crime bills before. And he bragged about that. You lost this debate, sir.
Yeah,
And
and
we're
Biden
gonna
has
move
said a
on.
lot of terrible things. So this is not something to die on.
Y'all see these Democrat shoes fighting hard, y'all. They fighting hard. Let's get to Paul. Paul, how you doing, Paul?
Man, I'm just okay. I'm glad I still have some hair left after that exchange that you had. I'm like, man, you just I mean, I, I encourage you to keep your head up, brother, because I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I would have pressed the button a long time ago. But I'm gonna let you know the reason why a lot of black people are leaving, especially I'm here in Chicago, is the Democrats. They just, you know how it is when you going down a losing path, and you like, no, y'all should turn back. No, we gonna keep going. Turn back. No, we gonna keep going. And then it's crazy because like said my mayor, you know, he's out of there as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I'm in Chicago, and like I said, they're gonna balance the budget, they're gonna do the budget, and they're gonna give, like a little over a $250 million towards the illegal to the illegal budget. And then not to mention there's people been waiting years and years in line waiting on Section 8, on EBT and SNAP. Guess what? They gotta wait even more years because when these immigrants coming off the bus, they getting a social security number, they getting Section 8, they getting SNAP, they getting all that straight off the gate.
Mm-hmm.
No line, no wait, because all I gotta do is all I gotta do is as soon as they come off the boat, I'm not the boat, but the bus, that they're sitting in there. They have a processing center, and they just got in the DHS. They got these laptops. Like, hey, here you go. What you need? Okay, we got you. Don't worry about that. We got a house set up for you next week. And in the meantime, there's black women, you know, in black women who got kids that's been waiting years to sit there and get their Section 8 voucher, and they just, I'm sorry, you gotta wait. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm done voting blue no matter who.
Mm-hmm.
So this election, guess what? you know, I'm looking at the I'm going to be looking at the red people in the Republican Party. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, it can't be no worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
let's
just
just
yeah,
yeah,
figure out
figure
who the
out who the
best
best
option
option
is.
is.
Just
Just
bet.
bet.
All I'm
All I'm
saying is
saying is
bet
bet
everybody.
everybody.
That's all
That's
we
all we
saying
saying
over
over
here.
here.
Bet
Bet
everybody.
everybody. And since Jasmine lost, I mean, they should let them know something's amiss. That whole position that we got these black people locked and loaded ain't gonna do what we tell them to do. You know, some should tell them, hey, it ain't going on. Roland Martin ain't whatever Roland Martin used to have with us. It ain't working now.
That's
That's
true.
true.
But there's
But
an
there was an
echo, so
echo,
I'm
so
gonna
I'm
have
gonna
to
have to
uh, mute you
mute you.
and move on. I don't know why there's an echo, but shout out to you, brother. That's my Chicago brother. Appreciate that. Shout out to Chicago. But I know we said we wasn't gonna be on long, but we got caught up in that debate right there. So it's time for us to get back to it, though. Time for us to get back to it. Let's get
Told y'all
to
he
it,
was debating. I
huh?
told them. They kept saying, be it, and they adding me. I'm like, oh, God, be it, drop the Afro. Let's move on from it. And he's like,
No,
no.
no, no. You
And I
gotta.
was like, no, Afro's in the zone. He kind of debating. So I told y'all, and you just said it. You said we just got caught up in that debate right there. I told y'all he was in the zone. He was debating.
Yeah, yeah. You got. First off, I'll be. That's what I do. I kind of enjoy the mental debating and all that stuff, but that stuff is good, okay? Because we don't strengthen ourselves by just dropping the opposition. We don't make our talking points look good by having just dropping anybody who we can't have a debate with. No, we got to beat them. He lost. He refused to concede. I caught him in so many different traps. It was checkmate, 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 checkmate. And I did that pretty much in every angle to show you that they will come up here and they're not debating on behalf of the best interest of the black community. They're not debating on even behalf of morality. They're debating on behalf of the Democrats. And he showed that. He proved that time and time again. I thought that was good. That's educational. Okay. Let's go to Sage. My brother Sage, how you doing? Talk to us, Sage. Talk to us.
Okay. Ted Cruz, Mitt Romney, Dianne Feinstein, Joe Biden, Ted Kennedy. Didn't this brother say that people can't name senators that were in
Mm-hmm.
when this bill passed? All right. So again, brother, even though we're young and we're not the baby boomers, we're well educated on this. This is educated black society. This is not just people talking on the internet into the wind. Just wanted to clear that out. Um, Um, got a bone to pick with Afro BX. Afro never lets me know when he goes live, so I'm actually caught in traffic, and I opened up the app. So me and Afro got beef BX. So when he come to New York, it's up for him. Um, but
It's up at Shanae's on Staten Island. She's a descendant of Sandy Ground, and she owns a soul food restaurant, Authentic. We know she's FBA. I hope y'all go over there and debate it out over a good plate of soul food. Okay?
can you do me a favor, BX? All seriousness, can you send me a DM with that address? I would love to go check that out tomorrow,
Sure,
the day after.
no
Appreciate
problem.
that.
I
Didn't even
will.
know about that. See, that's why we got to talk. But
Okay.
I am one of those people that the crime bill affected his family. My cousin did 33 years in jail for a crime that he could have done maybe even a third of the time. Now, was he guilty of selling drugs? Absolutely, he was. Absolutely. I'm not going to say and act like he wasn't. Yes, but he should not have gotten 33 years in jail, which he did. He recently got out in 2017. What was it, 2017 and 2019? One of those. Um, due to the, no, it wasn't 2017. It was due to COVID. Oh, whoa! Due to the pandemic, sorry, my apologies. He got out due to that compassionate release. So, do I endorse selling anything? Absolutely not. But again, I endorse fairness. Now, what the brother said earlier, um, Afro, correct me if I'm right. The John Lewis Voting Rights Bill Act. That's what it's called, correct?
Yeah,
And it had John Lewis's name on it, correct?
yeah.
Now, was John Lewis the only one that voted on it, or was there others that also voted on that bill?
No, he wasn't the only one who voted on it.
Correct. But it's called the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. So this is what I'm getting at with the brother. He's saying there's a lot of other senators that I've just named that voted for the bill, but the bill is truly called Biden's law. You don't even have to look up bill number 1285. No, 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 no. Just Google Biden's law and it will come up. So again, this is a bill that Biden touted big, standing on, in front of Congress, saying that we needed that. So again, I don't know what the argument truly is. I think that there's something else going on. I don't know if the brother is arguing for Biden, for I don't even know what reason he is, but I would love to ask, what about that police oversight committee that Biden promised when he was running in his election? What happened to that police oversight committee? You got too busy? Okay. What happened to the George Floyd, whatever that was going to be? The George Floyd, we would hope that it would have been an anti-black hate crime bill, but it wasn't. But what happened to that bill? Again, remember, when Biden first got into office, family, I want you guys to remember this. Biden had the House as well as the executive branch. No, he had the Senate too. He had the House, the Senate,
Yeah,
and
he had the House, the
he had
Senate,
the,
and
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure about the judicial, but I'm pretty sure he had the House, the Senate, and he had obviously the presidency. Why couldn't you get anything passed? If Joe Biden wasn't a staunch, can you say the R word up here? Anyway, if Joe Biden wasn't a staunch person like that,
Anti-black,
why
just say
didn't
that. Yeah, just
anti-black? Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, anti-black. Why didn't he pass any type of anti-black hate crime bills? Again, he came in office on the heels of George Floyd, on the heels of oh my God, I'm so sorry, my sister, Breonna Taylor. He came in the office on the heels of a Tatiana Jefferson. Why didn't he pass any type of laws that would have benefited them and their families? Why not do that? Again, we have to stop making excuses, and as black people, we have to stop accepting the the bottom of the barrel when it comes to politics. Again, you need something for your vote, and in my opinion, since I've been alive, Joe Biden hasn't done anything for our people. The only thing that he kind of, well, he didn't do anything really because Barack ain't our people, but he stood behind Barack. That's it. And don't get me wrong, I want to go on record with this one. The first two times my first vote ever when I was able to vote was for Barack Obama. I've not voted for a president since. And I unless they're talking tangible policies, I would not vote for a president. Now, my thing is that I voted for him because I hoped, what they brought at the time, hoped that it would be something different. And unfortunately, I was wrong. But we have to learn from the past. And if we're going to still be here arguing for the Democrats, and I'm circling right back to the topic at hand, why are black voters leaving the Democrats? Because the Democrats sold us a dream and did not come through. And again, they tell us sweet hellos and don't come through with tangibles. The thing with,
yeah.
Jasmine Crockett is that she'll pander to these Hispanics, but when it comes time for the Hispanics to vote, they identify as white, whether they're in New York, Florida, Chicago,
LA,
California,
yeah.
they identify as white. You have to understand that, bro. There's no mistaking that. I mean, Tekashi 6ix9ine, when he got, arrested, what did his, docket paper say? What did it say for his race? What did it say? It said white. You can't lie there because Hispanic is not a race. So where you going to go? So again, you want to pander to these people that honestly don't vote for you. That's what you're going to get. Now, if you want to cry, don't get me wrong. I never like seeing a sister crying. I don't like seeing that. But in all honesty, I have no sympathy for her because, again, she could have offered my family in Texas tangibles. She could have offered them tangibles. She did not. She refused to do so. So with that being said, I'm so happy that my family out there decided not to vote for her. And I stand with them, absolutely, 100%. And you should never vote for anyone that is not offering you something first. Did we not learn anything from Claude Anderson throughout these years? Or have we truly just been listening? Have we truly just been producing sweat, as he says all the time? So again, family, we need to learn from our past. We need to learn from our teachers. And if you're not learning, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. With that, I'm gonna learn.
All right, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. We got to learn our lessons, y'all. Let's get to nobody. What's going on, brother?
Oh no, yeah. Actually, no. I came up to answer the PK dude, just to answer about like people who signed that bill or worked on the bill, like as Sage just did. But like to your point, Afro, thank you for laying all that out very educationally and very structured in a way. It's like you said, we have to challenge the nonsense that comes with interfacing with the political expectations of us as a community. Because like you said, everybody's thinking y'all should just do this because X, Y, Z, and it's just no. We people make these very broad claims, and then when we substantiate them with we haven't got anything out of it, that's when like the fallacy starts and the deflection starts. So I commend you on that, and I'll drop after that, bro. Salute.
Appreciate that. Yeah. I want y'all to understand, this is why when we talk about holding the Democrats accountable, every single time we do that, you have somebody up here who will say, actually, Joe Biden did nothing wrong. Joe Biden did absolutely no wrong at all, period. Okay. And I kept saying, okay, well, he did this. Can you admit that? No, he didn't want to admit to anything. And this is the thing. The Democratic shields, they don't want to admit to the Democrats doing anything wrong. He knew that the bill hurt black people. He knew that, but he doesn't see that as being wrong. That's the thing. That's the thing. Because his loyalty is to the Democrats and is not to black people. When you see somebody fighting that hard for Joe Biden, of all people, Mr. Segregationist, Mr. friends with what's that name? Larry Bird and all that. Not Larry, but what's his name? What was his name? Sage,
Strom
what's his name?
Thurmond.
Strong Thurmond. Why did I say Larry Bird? Strong Thurmond.
He said Larry Bird.
I said Larry Bird. Why did I say Larry Bird? Robert Bird. Robert, yeah.
I know you a Chicago dude, bro.
Robert Bird, right? And Strong Thurmond. I said Larry Bird. It was Robert Bird. But when you friends with both of them, you know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? Now, if it was Donald Trump who was in Joe Biden's position, and Donald Trump did exactly what Joe Biden did, he wouldn't be sitting up here trying to defend Donald Trump. You know he wouldn't. Okay? Nor should he. He shouldn't have been trying to defend Donald Trump. All right?
I got a question for you, big bro. If you see what's going on in Iran right now, right? Now, if Joe Biden or Kamali Bob was in office right now, right? And they dropped bombs, excuse me, sorry. And they attacked, my apologies, attacked Iran. Do you think the Democrats would have been speaking out against it, or would they be saying, something totally different?
Yeah, they would have been saying we need to back the president and we need to back America. He is doing what's in America's best interest. And they would have been sitting up there bashing Iran and all of that. That's what they would be doing.
So you're basically saying this is a game that people do. They run behind their group, and whenever their group is in the driver's seat and they're doing something, they back them up. And that's what the brother was doing. I felt like, because he was making excuses why the states were doing, were pushing the bill onto. I'm trying to. This is TikTok, so I'm trying to not to.
Yeah, I know.
Too much. So I don't want the family to think I'm illiterate. I'm definitely not. I don't know TikTok too much, so I don't know what I can and cannot say. So if I sound like I'm pausing, it's because I'm thinking, family. But anyway, the bills they were incentivized, just like you said, big bro. So again, it's not that the Democrats were, the bill wasn't wrong. It was, excuse me. It's not that the bill wasn't wrong. It was that, the states went out of control with it. That's the same thing, if y'all don't realize, that Simone Mammy Sanders said when she got on CNN, when Biden was running against Trump in 2020. That's the same exact talking point that she brought up. So he's been listening to that. He's been
Mm-hmm.
listening to that. I want y'all to catch that. So again, if the bill was right, they wouldn't have to add amendments to it or even take it away as they did later on. And again, Biden has still not honestly apologized for that bill. Remember when what's his name? The Epstein boy, Bill Clinton. You remember when Bill Clinton
The
came out
Epstein.
and Epstein boy, Bill Clinton came out and recently apologized for the whole super predator situation. He tried to walk it back. He tried, but it was too little, too late. Mom Donnie up here in New York. Shout out to the rain. I know you get rained on, BX. Good for you. Mom Donnie up here in New York. He's trying now to walk back the whole immigrants built New York statement because he got called out. But it's too little, too late. But at least they're apologizing. Jim Crow Joe is never apologizing for that. And this is the guy that you support, TK, TC, whatever his name is. That's the guy that you're supporting. With that, I'm gonna land.
Yeah, he stood by it. He stood by it the whole time. All of that. Well, the states didn't. The states abused it. That's why I'm all like, why? Why did the states go overboard? Why? Because Joe Biden knew what he was doing. He knew the states were going to take that above and beyond. He knew it, and he paid them to do it. He got up there and paid them to do it. Because most people in prison currently in America are in state prisons. They're not in federal prisons. And he knew in order to get the most arrests possible, he needed the states to get on board. So he paid them to do it. He gave financial incentives for them to do that. And when I kept bringing that up, he didn't deny that. Okay, he tried to change the subject, which means he knew it was true. That's why. Let's get to Alicia.
Hey family, I'm gonna be real short too because like times two people ahead of me, he said the exact same. He like took my words out my mouth. I was just gonna say my very first time voting was for Barack, and they gave us so much hope. I just knew things were gonna be different, and I voted for him the second time. Then Hillary ran, and it's like she didn't even try to run a good campaign. Like we was just supposed to vote for her because she came behind Barack, and the same thing with Biden. And I would say, and my family always taught me vote. Another guy said that at the beginning when I got on here, he was like, he used to just blindly vote blue, blue, blue. That's just what I was taught. And I would say out of ignorance, I voted like that. And also out of ignorance, I let the fear mongering about all the stuff they said about Trump, even though he ain't my type of person or nothing like that. I just didn't want him to win, but just been so defeated since Barack got in office on to now. I didn't even vote this last term, knowing my civic duty, knowing that voting matters. Like I'm that defeated by the Democratic Party. They ain't done nothing for us. They don't produce nothing for us. They giving stuff to everybody else. I heard another man say on here that like women are waiting for Section 8 and stuff like that with kids. I don't even have kids. And at one point I was working 7 days a week, 2 jobs, like just so I can buy groceries and have extra money and stuff. Like I even need help to how bad the economy is. And like I'm gonna just land right there and say they done disappointed us and personally they done broke my heart, and I'm not voting Democrat no more. I can't say I'm a vote Republican. I like the independent idea. And all honesty, I was talking to somebody else on a different panel today, and my question to him was, would we be able to create our own political party for like the FBA? That's who I would want to vote for. And that's where I'm gonna land.
All right, appreciate you. All
Sister,
right.
if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? What part of the country? I know
I'm
you
from
foundational.
South
What part?
Georgia. I'm from South Georgia, down like the country. I'm from South Georgia.
Yeah, I love your accent. Siri,
Thank
book me a flight to
you.
South Georgia. Thank
Yeah.
Stage.
you. I'm joking, Afro. I'm joking. Leave me
Woo.
alone.
Okay, I ain't say nothing. I ain't say nothing.
Say that for the
Go
back end,
ahead.
brother. Say that for the back end.
Sage was like,
I
"Hey,
know what did
you
it.
can
I
show
know
me how
what
to
did
work
it.
TikTok." He was like, "Sister, follow me.
I
I'm
just
gonna
knew he
ask
was
you some
gonna ask me
TikTok
if I was
questions later on."
FBA. I was ready to get him my lineage. He talking about my doggone accent.
No, no, never.
No,
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 I hear you. No.
Let me tell
I
you,
like
because I
that.
know what Stage did there. He heard, I don't have no kids. I work 2 jobs. He said, oh, no
BX,
kids
leave me
is beautiful.
alone.
Get him,
BX,
BX.
what
Hey,
are
Get him
we
off me.
doing?
We trying to
What
be
I'm
are we
serious
sending my
right
doing?
now.
shot.
Get him,
What are we
BX.
doing?
He
What are
came
we
up like Percy
doing?
Earl. He said, "You ain't got to work that
She's
hard,
cute
baby."
though, right, Sage? You heard a beautiful accent. You see her profile picture. She's
Hell yeah,
beautiful.
that's the truth.
Right,
And the sad part, you
right.
know what? You supposed to be on call for New York. You know what? Nah, you X out. You know what? We taking the
He
Bronx out
said, I'm
here.
exiled.
This
Why?
is
Because
why
I
I don't
said
like
you're
the Bronx,
beautiful.
bro.
Listen, I know what's
We
business.
see
She
you,
is a
brother. Go ahead,
beautiful
brother.
lady,
I ain't
and she's
mad at you,
definitely
bro. I ain't mad
foundational.
at you.
You definitely gonna have
I ain't
some
mad
nice
at him.
dinner. She's from Georgia, okay? Go ahead. Take it to
Hey
the
y'all,
bank.
He
on a
said
serious
he said he wanted to get back to the
hey,
roots.
but on a serious note though, I kind of been I don't even watch the news no more. I'm so disappointed by the Democrats and what's all been going on. So I appreciate these type of lives and stuff like that. Because I'm finna drop down so somebody else can get up here. I just want to hear, I was born in '89. I don't know what happened all for real, how did the bill Biden passed and stuff like that. I wasn't there for that. I only know what people say now. So like y'all leading me in a direction where I just, and I also would say we can't keep being afraid of change. If we don't change, we gonna stay on the same trajectory. And I'm finna drop, y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, come on, we got to do something different at this point. When are we gonna learn? That's a good point. Let's get to Black American proverb.
Man, brother Afro, what's good? Hey, sister ZZ. Hey, BX,
Hey.
what's good? Y'all stop
Devon,
that.
that's you?
My brother Sage was on his New York Bulls
What
shit.
up, brother?
He heard that South of Georgia. Homegirl sound like one of my friends that's from Albany, Georgia. I don't know if that's where she was from, but yeah, they got that deep Southern accent, boy.
That'll do it to them. That'll do it to them New Yorkers. Them accents, baby. Sorry,
They
I'm
be trying
I'm
to turn
sorry.
the house
I'm
into a
sorry.
home. That's all. So let's get on topic. Let's get on topic. So, man, why
He
are
said
black folks
finna.
leaving the Democrats? We know the term and we know the song is but so long fake thugs can pretend, right? And it's but so long that these Democrats can fake who they really are. And I think based on what's been happening around the country, especially when we start talking about here in New York, our personal experience, what happened with the illegal aliens and them labeling them the migrants and then giving them all the set asides. When the disrespect gets that blatant, that's when you're going to see more and more people start to leave in a critical mass. Like those of us that kind of understand that both parties are racist, we've already been practicing what I call political nimbleness, right? And so just being politically nimble, we understand that both parties are racist. And so you got to find out which other secondary policies work best for your people, since neither party is championing a black agenda. I see PK still in the chat talk about the Republicans. And I just want to say this, like deflecting to the anti-black practices and behavior of the Republican Party does not absolve the Democrats of the same anti-black behavior that they implement. And so this cheap deflection that you guys do is exactly what you said, Afro. It's when you are caping for Democrats, not for black people, not the betterment of our community. Like you're here to defend Democrats. And
Mm-hmm.
what I find ironic is that legislatively, Biden is who they want to convince us that Trump is. Again, let me say that again. Legislatively, Biden is who they're trying to convince us that Trump is. When you look at the legislative record of Biden, Trump doesn't even come close to that. Now, when we start talking about socially and maybe some of the things he says and does, that's a very different conversation. But Trump has not passed one piece of legislation that has targeted us like the legislation that Biden has signed, authored, and or supported throughout his entire career. And then his rhetoric, if we want to start matching rhetoric for rhetoric, his rhetoric has come in the chambers of power, while Trump was just a private citizen doing what he did. And I'm getting real tired of this lazy gotcha when they talk about the Central Park Five, because that's in my state. What most don't tell you, and I've heard Tariq highlight this before, is that everybody involved, they talk about Trump and his full page ad that he took, but everybody else politically that was a part of railroading them boys were Democrats. From the judge to the prosecutor to the arresting officers. Like, we got to talk about what we really have here. And shout out to my sister Thorough Black Talk. She's in the chat. We went to the New York Historical Society Museum up in Manhattan. And when you look at the original, the foundation of the Democrat Party, their tagline and motto was "No Negro Equality." And so now we can understand that there's been some shift and some movement, after 1965 and that, and that, like, but when we talk about the foundation of the party and we see how they move and we see what just happened to Jasmine and we see what Barack was able to do and not able to do, and we see how Simone Mammy Sanders and all of the black people get on TV and talk about how, black people wanted what Joe Biden passed when he did the crime bill. The same black people that wanted the crime bill are the same black people that are selling us out now. The same shills and the people that don't fight for a foundational Black American political autonomy, those are the kinds of black people. And in some cases, since they've been there so damn long, it's the same exact people that supported Biden on that bill are still in power and still disempowering foundational Black Americans. And again, going back to that original tagline, when you think about no Negro equality, that is exactly what the Democrat Party looks like. They'll take your votes. They'll try to give you some catfish nuggets. But when you start trying to accrue enclaves of power for foundational Black Americans, all of a sudden things go awry, and it's the Republicans' fault, and all this other the racism of blue MAGA starts to come out, and more of us are leaving because it's becoming evidently clear that neither party is for us. And I'll land by saying this: in New York, I got a full it was in full blast in 2021 when the Democrats of the city council passed that bill to allow non-citizens the right to vote in our local elections. It passed through, even though every single one of them knew that was unconstitutional based on the New York State Constitution. And there were people in that chamber that were Democrats, that were Black, that said, hey, passing this is going to dilute the foundation, they didn't use the term, but obviously foundational Black American political power here in New York City. And those particular city council members were ousted from city council after they made those statements. And it took our advocacy here in New York with the U.S. Freeman Project alongside Republicans. Now, of course, we don't agree on shit, right, when it comes to reparations. But the one thing that we did agree on is that non-citizens voting is a non-starter. And we got with those Republicans, they challenged that law, and it got overturned because de Blasio let it go through. And when Eric Adams came into office, instead of him standing on business, he just let it go through because in New York, at the city council level, if the mayor does not veto it or sign it, it becomes law automatically. So they did that slick shit, let it pass through. And if not for us working with those same Republicans that the people say don't work with them at all, to this day, if we didn't do that, when that migrant crisis happened, because nothing happens in the vacuum, every one of those illegal aliens / migrants that was getting all the housing and all the set-asides that they said they wasn't going to get will be voting, and they would have chosen who our mayors and other local officials were for years to come.
Appreciate your advocacy, brother. I appreciate all of the work you do. Sincerely, thank you. I want to say this, and then we're going to get to our brother foundational, and then we're going to wrap it up, right? Let me just say this about the full page ad with the Central Park 5. And I've talked about this many times. Okay, this is one of the first subjects, actually, I started talking about when I started making my YouTube channel. I think that the fact that it was proven that the boys who were accused didn't do it and they were acquitted, and Donald Trump, he did take that ad out. Okay. And the fact that Donald Trump is still standing by it, the fact that Donald Trump is not apologizing for it, shows he has a huge ego problem and he cannot admit that he's wrong no matter what. Okay. It shows a lack of character. It shows a lack of dignity. Okay, it shows a lack of manhood. That's what it shows. Based off of the fact that it was proven and it's abundantly clear, 100% true, that it was wrong, and those were children who were coerced to do it, and he's still standing by it, shows a lack of dignity, decency, character, and all of that. And I'm not going to sit up there and give him, spare the rod on him at all, period. I'm not going to do that. Now, I want to just remind everybody that when Donald Trump did take that ad out, not a single Democrat disagreed with that. Democrats did not disagree with that ad at the time. All of them were on board. So they want to be all like, Trump took an ad and Trump took an ad, Trump took an ad. All of the Democrats were on board. None of them said, you know what, I can't believe he did this ad, I'm gonna stop. They all kept partying with Donald Trump. They kept kicking it with Donald Trump. They didn't try to slander Donald Trump for that ad. The ad didn't even get bought up in the media like that till he started running against Hillary. That's when they started bringing up, oh, well, we got to talk about the Central Park 5 thing. The Democrats never had an issue with that. Even when the boys were exonerated, they didn't hold Donald Trump's feet to the fire. They didn't say anything about the ad because they don't care about the Central Park 5 because they were Democrat. They don't care. They don't care about the ad. They were just using that for a political talking point. I just want everybody to remember everything. A foundation, how you doing, brother? Talk to us.
Peace, brother Afro Lee. Peace to the panel. Peace to everybody. And the shout outs to Thorough Black Talk. Also, she definitely doing real work in the community. I believe the brother also is with her. They're doing real work. I gotta meet up with you guys one day in New York. But one thing I'm gonna say is this, family. When it comes down to the Democrat, right? We understand that they have always been like this. I think that this is not nothing new. They have always been like that, but they codified, right? They kind of painted out and put a bow on top of what they said, right? So they use soft and sweet, flowery words to make it seem like they're not undermining or doing things that detrimental to our community, right? So we already know the trick words of urban communities, right? POC, people of color, right? All these different trick words, right? In order to rise those ships. They said one time rise those ships, and we started realizing, hold on, the tide is rising. We see the ships rising, but we don't see our ship rising. And that's what's been going on for the last 65 years. We've been watching everybody's ship rise, and we've been questioning, hold on, our ship not rising. Where our ship at? Our ship still at the bottom, and we watch everybody rise up because a lot of these immigrants that have been going into the Democratic Party and making sure they're good for their specific people and for their specific agenda, right? And so we thinking that we all black, we all this, and we all that with the we are the world mentality, thinking that these people have our best interest at heart, right? And now what we're seeing is, hey, I got the numbers now. We don't need y'all no more. And we're going to let it be known the veil's removed, and now we strictly for the immigrants, and now we're going to say it loudly and boldly. It always been like that. It always been about the immigrant class, right? They codified it and put the different words to try to make it seem like it's for everybody. But it's always about the betterment and the uplifting of all communities outside of the Black American, right? And so when it come down to it, we saw when Kamala Harris tried to turn out Freeman's Bank and make it a We Are the World bank for everybody. It's something that our ancestors created. We saw when, it's so many things that they have done to undermine, like Brother Afro said. We're not saying that the Republicans are angels neither. No, we're not saying that. Right? We understand that they're two birds. Again, we have some very intelligent people and geniuses, so I'm not going to repeat everything. I'm sure you heard it all today. But again, they are two birds. They are two wings of the same bird, right? So we understand now it's time I think the time is now we have to start making them tap dance for us. We've been tap dancing for them for the last 65 years. Oh, it's blue. I don't care who. I'm just going to vote. I don't care who it is. I'm just going to vote. Vote blue. And that's what we've been doing. Tap dancing for everybody else. Now it's time to make them tap dance for us. It's time to make them work for our vote, right? We understand. Shout out to the brother that was just talking. They tried to make the immigrant class that wasn't a citizen vote and that was the whole point of having millions and millions of immigrants go specifically to our areas. Notice they didn't go into the YT areas. they specifically put them into our areas, right? And that was strategic, right? Because it's to undermine our vote, and they were trying to expedite their citizenship and make them citizens. And then when that didn't work, like the brother said, they try to make them vote being non-citizens. So this is all strategic because what they want to do, and this is why they also want to make Puerto Rico a state all of a sudden during that year also. That's more voters. The Democrats trying anything to remove our vote because they realize, hold on, these black people are waking up. They no longer saying it's blue, I don't care who. Now they asking for things, so we can't have that, right? We want to continue to then go to carrot in front of the treadmill and have them continue to run, thinking that they're going to get the carrot. That's what they wanted to do. Now that we waking up, and we say, hold on, we need this. Let's start flooding the gates. And that's when they start flooding the gates. This is strategic. And this is what I want the immigrant class that's listening to understand. A lot of you guys, this is not personal. A lot of you guys taking it personal. I don't have no real issue with no immigrant. What y'all got to understand is that y'all are pawns. And a lot of y'all, now I can't say a lot of y'all don't know, because some of y'all know, but y'all rather be a pawn than to go back to where you came from. So we understand. But there's a lot of y'all that don't know. Y'all are being utilized as pawns to cause riffraff against each other, right? When y'all understand that y'all being utilized as pawns, then maybe you can be able to work and say, hey, I can maybe. But the problem is y'all know y'all being pawns and y'all trying to undermine. That's where this discrepancy lies. So the thing is, what it come down to is a lot of us got to get out there and start forcing both parties for tangibles, forcing them to give us tangibles. We need to make sure they give us tangibles by all means. There's no longer, I'm just going to vote because I feel good, vote because of feelings. They like, and another thing that the Democrat class like to do is they like to use fear. Oh, they taking away Black History Month. No, they're not. The last person to try to take away Black History Month was Austin Chang, and he was a Nigerian of Michigan. Right? Oh, they trying to take away, and they do all this fear tactics because they trying to. That's what they've been doing for the last 55 years. Don't go Republican because you never. And they push fear. Don't fall for the fear tactics. They deporting Black Americans. No, we wind up finding out that's a Black immigrant. So they always, everything is fear. Don't fall into that, family. It's about remove your feelings. It's about logic. It's about stats. It's about numbers. That's it. We're not going with the fear tactics, the fear mongering. They've been capitalizing over that for the last 65 years. I want to say my last thing. Voting in politics is warfare without the BLOOD shed. I'm going to say that again. Politics, voting is warfare without the BLOOD shed, right? So when you don't vote, or when you're not trying to vote, or you just don't care, what happens is you're losing that excuse me, I didn't mean to say WAR. You're losing that WAR, and this is why we in a position now. Because a lot of us say, well, I don't care about voting. Oh, well, I'm going to just vote anything. Not understanding this is economic and political WAR fear. So I want us to keep that in mind, to really take this serious. Time to start being intentional and making sure we intentional with our votes, with our economics and everything. Because these people are coming from whatever deserted countries that they're coming from. And what happens is they're going to get it. They're trying to get it by all means, even if that means stepping on your neck. It's time for the soft and sweet. We are the world Black Americans to wake up and realize this is not iOS 1965, where it's everybody coming here and we all kumbaya. This is iOS 2026, where people are not in for your best interests at heart. So we got to start listening to our ancestors. Our ancestors said a few things. What they said, not all skin folk is kinfolk. It seemed like we forgot about that. Not all skin folk is kinfolk. And another thing, where there's a will, there's a way. And we'll make a way out of no way. So let's continue to persevere through adversity and make that will and make that way. I love you. At your peace, Latchkey.
Much respect. I think this was a pretty good live. I think so. This was a good live. Okay. We had some shills and trolls and all that stuff, but we had a really respectful conversation. I mean, we was spitting fire. There's a lot of gems in this live, which is why y'all need to go to For the Culture on YouTube so y'all can listen to the playback. Because the playback of this will be on that YouTube channel. Go to For the Culture on YouTube and listen to the playback. And shout out to everybody who will be listening to the playback of this on YouTube. So thank you. Thank you, guys. Shout out to y'all. All right. So thank you guys for that. Zizi, are you able to give any final words or anything?
Oh
Yes, I am. That's perfect timing, actually. Absolutely egregious. First of all, I'm mad I didn't get to kind of comment. It was a couple back and forths that happened and I couldn't either. Somebody else was talking, so I couldn't interrupt. Or when I could interrupt, I had something to do. So, I do apologize about that. But real quick, I know I did have this thought lingering in my mind. Batty, you got to get up off that Democratic plantation, child. I ain't even hit a whole back and forth you had with that dude. But all he said was he was going independent. And you was getting real triggered. I'm like, that's egregious. So get off that plantation. I don't know what you got going on. But
Can I
anyway, black
respond?
people are leaving. Now, this ain't the time. This is just my closing thoughts. That's all I got to say. I don't need a rebuttal. Black people leaving the Democratic plantation are leaving Democrats alone because they're not offering anything tangible. Y'all ain't got no policies for us. Y'all ain't got nobody pushing us at the forefront of your platforms. So what are we doing over there? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, baby, we going with the resources, with the tangibles, and with people who's reflecting what we want are. And if that's not the Democratic plantation, then that's it. It is what it is. And I'm not, again, we done said it 47 times, and somebody still gonna put in the comments, y'all are Trump supporters and Republicans. That's not the point. The point is, let's go where we gonna get something out of it. All right, whether that's red, blue, or somewhere in between. We need to figure that out. Okay, so yeah, shout out to the chat, shout out to the panel. This was a good conversation from what I heard. Love y'all.
Yeah,
Be
it was
one.
good. Yeah.
Appreciate the
But
chat.
they
I mean,
control it now, so why are they not doing
No,
Oh,
it?
no,
girl,
it's
no,
too late.
no,
Now,
no.
come on now.
Co-host. She's
Damn.
a co-host.
Man,
She's
how
a
about that?
co-host, Batty. She doesn't. Thank you, Zizi. Thank you.
Yeah,
Woo,
we
we don't need no
ending anyway.
resident
Come on,
peasants,
we're not about to
Afro.
do that. We ending anyway. We wrapping it up.
We don't need no resident
Zizi ain't said
peasants.
nothing the whole live. Come on, and then the second she say something, people want to come up and say that. Come on now, let her give her closing thoughts without an argument. That makes no sense. You know what? We'll have more political conversations, and then you can come up and we'll have more conversations. But we've been
Not
on this for
Batty.
like what 3-something hours. It's time to go.
Afro, with that said, when is the next time you're coming back live on TikTok?
What's tomorrow? I may have some time tomorrow, but I'll let you know.
See, I don't know why Batty is playing with me. I already know she's a troll, and she's possibly not FBA. So, like, keep your
But
opinions or me, my tongue to yourself,
we've
because
we've
nobody else has
we've had a
complaints about it.
conversation with Batty before, and Batty was different when we were talking about immigrants and all of that stuff. I remember Batty. That's why I was a little surprised that Batty's shilling for the Democrats like that. But I guess she's one of those 92% people. I'm sure. I'm very sure she's a 92%.
Sucks to be
Are
her,
you a
because we get
92
92%
used
Batty?
every
Just
people and
saying.
time.
lost.
I know. Come on.
So, here's
You're
what
in the
I want
right
to
place.
say.
We're gonna rehabilitate you. Come on now.
Oh God, no! Make sure it's
Yeah,
a
we
day
got
I
to we
can
got to
see
stop the
you.
recidivism.
Nothing but love to you too, Uncle Z. So I really want to say this as a teen when the Central Park 5 incident happened. The city was kind of wild, right? And that's when when the police I think came up with the term wilding. So for the most part, some believe the young guys may have done it, and some didn't. What we did, I wasn't looking at Trump and the prosecutor as Democrat or Republican, y'all. I was just looking at Trump as a white teen man who does what? Whenever white teen women are harmed or complain about something, what do the white teen men do? They jump into action, right? And then you see Oprah, every damn rap hip hop artist was still friends with Trump, but what surprised me was afterwards, when they were released, they said, we don't want to be known as Central Park 5 anymore. We want to be known as the Exonerated 5. So imagine my horror, right? Because I kind of seen where Raymond Santiago, I think his name was, or Santana, he went out with Delicious, and then one got into government in New York, and I think he ran uncontested. But now they're on the Democratic stage, letting people call them the Central Park 5. I said, why are they letting themselves be exploited like that? They specifically told us they wanted to be named the Exonerated 5 to show that, you know what I'm saying? So I say all of that to say, I just wanted to put my input on that. I think New York was asking for the unalive penalty at that time, if not mistaken. New York was kind of, going up. But at the end of the day, our men do still get railroaded. The police, they kept them interrogation tactics. All that stuff there that we see on the first 48 was really happening in real life. But for the most part, I just thought Trump was being what white teen men do best, being a racist, trying to protect his women, and he wasn't thinking rationally. Should he apologize? Yeah. right? He's doing everything else right for foundational Black Americans, even if he don't know he is. So I mean, apologizing to the young men wouldn't be a bad thing, wouldn't be detrimental for him. Because guess what, y'all? He could come back and run as vice president next year. We don't never have to see another Democrat for the next 2 or 3 terms. That's all. I'm going to land there. Yup, see, Keisha. See, Keisha knows a lot. She says, yup, BX. Raymond Santana and Yusef Salaam sold themselves out to the dens that put them behind bars.
And this
So,
and this is what, yeah, there was people who believed, like I said, when I said that nobody had an issue, I didn't mean like the community. I meant the Democrats. I'm talking about because I saw what's his name? Oh, I forgot his name. I Not Al Green.
not
It
really
wasn't.
based off of you. It's just like throughout this course of time since Trump has been in office, plus the comments that I see, I always let people remember the climate that New York was in, how some of us may not have necessarily believed that they were innocent, and others, even if they knew they were innocent, was still in Trump's corner, still putting him in their rap songs, going to, you know what I'm saying? He
Al
was still
Sharpton.
amongst the community. But the thing for me with them is when I saw them on a Democratic stage allowing people to still call them Central Park Five. Why didn't they stand on Exonerated Five?
Yeah,
I
they
think
didn't.
that would have been, but I'm not them. I just wanted to pull that out.
And you know, we're not trying to beat them up, but we're trying to say, okay, you guys are being exploited.
Right.
And what I was saying is that when Donald Trump took that ad out, okay, now mind you, he's not a part of the case. He's not a part of the prosecution. Okay. That ad could have been completely ignored. It was the prosecution who was interrogating them and violated their rights, not Donald Trump. Okay. But he took the ad out. I said that it shows a terrible reflection on him that he has yet to apologize for that. I want you guys to just keep all of the factors in mind. All of the people who bring it up now were still super cool with him, buddy with him after that ad. Okay, I'm talking about from Al Sharpton to Oprah. If you didn't hear that, to Whoopi Goldberg, all of them were super cool with him. Snoop Dogg, all of them were super cool with him. It wasn't until he became a Republican it's all like, hey man, that Central Park Five thing was wrong. That's what I'm saying. Come on now. That's what I'm saying.
I said Afro. So did you tell us? I'm sorry. Did you tell us when you was coming back? You said
Yeah,
tomorrow,
no, I'm not sure tomorrow, but I'll let you know. It will be kind of around the same time though.
2 o'clock. I like that
Yeah,
time.
around that. Yeah, around that
Okay,
If I
time.
that's
could give
fine.
final like 10 seconds, if you don't mind, Afro.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So, but you bring up something about the 92%. I think that's a very important conversation. I will hope that we have a lot. I'm probably gonna do a live about that. I don't know, maybe me and you, whichever one. But the 92%, I think that's very important to have that conversation with them, have them come in. We can have a conversation and do that, right? Because we got to understand, it's not the immigrant class that's the threat, right? They're a very small, minute number. It's not them per se that's the threat. It's more so the 92%, the soft and sweet, we are the world Black Americans that want to be the carpet for the world to walk on. Those are the problem because they are the ones that's voting them in. They're the ones that's putting them in positions of power. They're the ones that's and aiding to our political and economic destruction because they want to be the superhero to put the cape on for the world instead of finally focus on ourselves for the first time in 65 years. So I think that should be a conversation. Either one, you or me, we can both do a lot about that. That's a very important conversation we should have, family, because if we don't have that conversation with the 92%, what's going to happen is it's going to definitely be it's not, I'm not going to even say that, but it's not going to be it's not going to be too good. So I think we should have that conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, that needs to be had. The conversation needs to be had.
And if not for anything else, we got Yvette Clarke, AOC, both out of New York, but also in Congress, so they represent a lot of y'all too, are up for re-election. If they don't have a seat, they can't be on them caucuses. Getting on my last good god doggone nerves. So the midterms should be talked about. Is that what you're saying, Marshall?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
Well, I think he was.
Midterm.
He was talking about the 92% of people who voted for Harris the last election.
Yeah, 92%, they like the Democrat, the people that just want to vote blue, I don't care who, the people that come up that's Democrat, the ones that come up shielding, those people, right? They are the ones that's putting a lot of these immigrants in position for the last 65 years, right? They are so busy pouring their empty cups into other people instead of finally, for the first time in 65 years, pouring into their own empty cup. And I think that's the issue that I have. It's time for us to start being a little selfish for the first time in 65 years. We've been the emotional currency of the world. We've been jumping in front of everyone's atrocities for the last 65 years. So for the first time in 65 years, it's okay for us to start making sure we're good first and build our foundation. And then maybe after we're good, we can start pouring into others again if we want to.
Wait. Okay, so I want to piggyback off of that's what I'm trying to. Yvette Clarke, very problematic, right? Jamaican descent, in charge of the CBC, right? Also in charge of New York, certain district here, and she's on the New York caucus, this caucus, that caucus, Caribbean caucus, and actually got them a delineation bill called the Caribbean Count Bill in 2009. But everybody's screaming when Black Americans want to delineate. What I'm trying to say is, yes, we need to be selfish, but we need to speak to our people and tell them, I can't tell them, I could suggest. Sitting out the midterm, this cycle is not going to get Yvette Clarke out. It's not going to get AOC out. We got to get to the polls or do the mail-in ballots. There's no formal way to disband those caucuses, but if they don't have a seat in Congress, guess what? They can't be there getting tangibles just for their people and their people's nations, right? They can't mess things up for us. So that's all I was trying to.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk. We'll have
conversations. Afro ready to go. That's all I was saying, Marshall. Yep. Thank you, Afro.
All right.
I agree. I'm gonna make lives about that. Thank you so much, Afro. Thank you so much, Z, and everybody else.
No, thank you.
You're welcome, Marshall.
All right, y'all have a good rest of your day.
You
Peace.
too.
Be one.
Be one, family.